trying to get here? And yeah, no real characters to be taken away at this point.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get a glimpse at Mirko's hand in this opening situation in exchange. He's not used Sakazuki's yet. Now he will, getting rid of the Sanji's Pilaf. That's an interesting decision if Mirko is perhaps not having the most optimal start to the game. Maybe would have wanted to fire off the Pilaf, see a couple more cards
did
in the deck or an extra card
too,
in the case of the Sakazuki leader effect.
But the best part is if you open bad, you still have best.
But we are going to see a character on board finally, and it's the blocker Borsalino.
Yeah, Borsalino's great. It's on your opponent's turn. You gain an extra 1,000 power and cannot be KO'd by effects. You can be removed from the board. You can be put to the bottom of the deck with the other Borsalino, for example, but you cannot actually be KO'd by effects, which is a very big deal. Just gives you a little bit of protection from any swing that might come down, and it means that you can potentially here have, you know, something to protect against those cheeky leader swings, you know, counter 1,000 and just get rid of them. And we do see those cheeky leader swings coming out quite often in the early game. We've seen that, well, not just in this tournament, but honestly throughout all the tournaments we've done together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, turn passed on over. With 5 Don left, up ready to go. Looking at maybe eyeing up a blocker Borsalino of his own in this situation. There's a greater option in hand. I think a Mancherry. No, it's the 7-cost blue Borsalino. There's a few different ways we can try and go about this. First off is a 6K swing into the leader. Cost reduced on the blocker Borsalino as well.
Taking it, interesting.
Yeah, blocker Borsalino we see coming down. We've got both players essentially copying each other's homework here. It's a phenomenal card that sees a huge amount of play. Really is one of the key cards that we do see in the Sakazuki matchups here. So it's
a championship.
Yeah, it's a great card. You see why both players are putting it down, and it just is going to protect against those cheeky swings. Now, this is it's another one of those games where it's probably going to take a while. This is probably not going to be a quick game. It's going to go on. And this does mean there are going to be some concerns about time as we get towards the end of the game. If a player is able to win,
it looks like Pilaf has been very popular too. And I only say because I know Antonino is playing it.
But I don't think we're going to get 3 completed games.
Mirko, they should be on the same team.
That is where it is going to start.
So it looks like they're probably playing the same.
Yeah, and these games do have the tendency, you're right, and as we highlighted earlier on,
so
to
Antonino
go into a bit of a grind fest, go into a little bit of a stalling situation. When both
if Antonino and Mirko win, it's going to be like a brothers final type vibe, which would be insane. Probably the same deck too, which would just prove it's probably the best build. Or at least they piloted it the best.
As well, just to make sure you're getting that really nice 2-for-1.
Oh, 2-for-1's always fun. And Rob Lucci, I mean, you know, Taj pointed this out right at the beginning of the weekend here.
No bottom deck card on Herjovi. Is that it, maybe? Does he have the Hound Blaze? Or was he just looking for a draw?
On Roya's side, that is the best I can do right now. And are we going to see some follow-up here? Are we going to see something else from Mirko trying to actually take that out?
Yeah, I'm expecting Hound Blaze from this situation here with 5 Don open. I'm expecting that to be in that 2-cost range, be able to give the leader Sakazuki as well an extra 3,000 power and just straight away spin that Borsalino to the bottom of the deck. We're going to go looking for it, a miss. Double Lucci.
And that is not ideal. They end up in, and that's the thing, because a lot of black decks play from the trash, you know, things like...
He might have been fishing for the Hound Blaze. Didn't get it. That's rough.
What that means is that these searchers would, in other archetypes, they would go back into your deck, they go into the trash, and what that means is you can recover them with Rebecca.
Oh, he does have the Hound Blaze. There it is. This is the semi, Brian. It is. This is 9 at lead.
Yeah, just thought maybe panicked for a second there that Mirko didn't have it in hand, but actually it was the exact play that he was signaling, and then swings into Hervohe's leader. Is going to be a 2-to-2 life battle, and this is the kind of place that we're going to probably I imagine if these decks start firing on all cylinders, as they should do, as they're built to do, this is going to be around about the state that we stay in terms of the life count for a little while.
Hey, Anthony.
We've seen this time and again. 2 life, you are willing
I
to
will
go
be in
to
LA.
that
I
two
will be
life,
at Nats.
But it is when you get below 2 lives that it starts to be panic stations. You don't mind giving up the first couple, but then you start fighting an awful lot harder to make sure that you can retain those last couple of life and not let your opponent, if you go down to 1, then all of a sudden it's so much easier for your opponent to have that big turn where they get 2 attacks through. It's not what you're looking for. So yeah, we're going to see 2 life sitting here for a little while at this stage. I think it is fair to say.
They have some really cool stuff. If you're located near LA, I think it's worth it. If not, probably not. They did just have a second chance for spectators to get in. That Lino was strong too.
Blocker Borsalino that Mirko had on board, and now it's going to be his turn to try and find a few answers. The first is going to come in the form of just a 5,000 power poke.
Is he going to Lino the Lino?
Hervoyer's leader. That'll bring Blue Borsalino down to a 6 cost. Should be easy to counter out with, and does. That was
dang, unfortunate.
That he just countered away with there.
It was a championship Borsalino. I think somebody might be quite good at this game.
There it is, the Lino to Lino.
Borsalino crime there. Borsalino comes in and forces the other Borsalino to the bottom of the deck. And
honestly, Nami doesn't play fast though. Like, if you're playing Nami, I don't think there's like, because you're like, in my opinion, inherently slow playing as Nami. I don't think it was really much that could have been done. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's been for best of 1, best of 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't 2-0, you probably lose to time.
And talking about the blow for blow sort of nature of this mirror.
Oh, I see. Your buddy's the plug. I got it.
Hervoyer is, well, he
Hound Blaze
in the Paris Treasure Cup all the way back on the 16th of December.
Does he have? No, he doesn't have Hound Blaze. Is he gonna just bobber?
How good this player is at this game, piloting Sakazuki once again as well.
And making it one step further in this tournament. I mean, top 8 in the Treasure Cup, pretty nice. Top 4 in a championship finals, yeah, that's just a little bit step above here. Now, looks like we're going to be seeing Don going on to the Sakazuki and then swinging to...
I guess that makes sense. Antonio's playing...
Puts it down to a 4 cost, which is incidentally in the range
playing
of
Fabian.
That's where you want it to go. And where is that attack going into?
It's going to go into life. It's the only potential target in this situation. So the life will be
down
taken.
to 1.
Did not expect that to be taken so easily there.
Yeah, I think
on a
just
6.
reading the lips of Mirko there, I think he's got 6 cards in hand now. So it would have been 5 prior to the life being taken. But you're right, Ross. I think potentially just the 1k counter might have been nice in that situation. I am expecting certainly the Borsalino to come down here.
No marker.
In fact, there you go. Speak it into existence.
Yeah, well, when you see a character brought down to a 4 cost and no further,
I see.
You know, against Sakazuki, that generally signals that Borsalino is absolutely being eyed up to come down and take them off the field.
The Lino.
We've got a little. It's not quite the Rebecca Hina Roblucci combo going back.
I mean, he like has to remove the Lino or has to play a blocker here. Otherwise, he could get gamed next turn.
And it very much is a mirror match. Both of these decks are going to be looking to do the exact same thing. Their goal is going to be control the board, don't let your opponent get away with anything, and then get the attacks through as and when you can. We saw the cheeky attack with the leader from Hervoyer there, and you know what? It went through. Nobody really expected it to go through, but it did. And maybe there is a possibility here that next turn, and look, we've got a long way to go before we get there, but if Mirko doesn't get a blocker on the board, maybe you just put a bunch of Don underneath your Borsalino and your Sakazuki leader, because at this stage, 2 big swings going through will end up winning you the game. We're far away from that, but that is at least potentially shaping up for next turn.
Yeah, that is potentially one of the issues, and one of the things that potentially that
neither of them use markers for their leader, which is super interesting. Everybody else had some way to like remember. It seems like they're just straight up relying super flex.
Sakazuki deck run any kind of counter events, you are relying purely on the counter.
Mirko not even letting us get a peek at that hand.
Or even the blockers as well that you put out on board. So I'm a player that likes to play a little bit of mind games, likes to have my Don up as well, and a potential to use an event to counter away. But none of these players actually do that.
No, and you do have a bunch of characters in there that just don't have any counter, like the Rob Lucci, and if they can end up, you know, clogging up your hand, that can be a little bit of an issue. So we still see Havoya there just having a bit of a life advantage, 2-1. And then the question, oh, and a lot of cards in hand as well. That is a beefy hand, and there are at least a couple cards in there with counter. There's a Suru there at the front, so yeah, there's going to be some options. Yeah, Havoya is certainly in the driver's seat.
Also, one thing is, like, sometimes you just, like, they minus, and you should always minus. Just because your opponent might assume that you're going to remove it. And it's just like a slight mind game. I've had somebody reduce my card to, like, 1, and they didn't remove it. And I was like, oh, okay, but I thought it was gone.
It's, at the moment, very, very much in Havoya's
there it is.
But a Rebecca to return some
that's where it starts. Rebecca, Robert, Lucci, Hina, Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, RHL or whatever.
You would imagine it's probably going to be Rob Lucci because 2 of them got trashed earlier.
Does he have an Ice Age? Is he on 9? Are we at 9? And he's going to go Ice Age, Pop, Bobber. Oh, it just plays the Hina. Same thing, same thing.
You kind of almost have to get it back, even if it's not always your main goal. But of course here, it does get rid of the Borsalino.
You could have got rid of both, but it's not super important on the brand.
Fine. That's absolutely perfect in that situation.
Putting back, which 3 is he? Meteor.
Rested Hina, fetching the Lucci back from the trash. Play out that Lucci for the hard 4 cost as well. Gets completely rid of it. Can't go in 2 for 1 because the brand new is still at 2.
Oh, he's left-handed. Interesting.
In this situation, you don't mind that whatsoever.
You got rid of the big threat on the board. You got rid of the big attacker. The brand new there, you would like it to get
checking that grave, just trying to see, you know, what he might have, any kind of removal that might be coming down for anything he plays. Is he going to 10? Is it 10 Kaido time? Are you safe to play 10 Kaido here? Does he even play 10 Kaido? I see it. I see it in the hand.
But firstly, you draw 4 cards. That's awesome. Secondly, you get a 12k body on the board, which can be firstly a big attacker for next turn.
Yeah, 12k, when you play down the Kaido, I mean, it's going to clear pretty much any body. I've had people play it more against me now, and I'm like, well, like, if they have no blocker, like Flame Emperor, put him to 0 possibly is just savage, but also they could just counter. I mean, they'll have like 9 cards, which is absurd.
On the Hina. And the swing as
is he going to go for a clean? The sweep?
We have,
drop the grandma, and then play Lucci, pop Hina. Oh, you still need 1 more because she's at 2.
There is a 2k counter, and it's used, so wherever that attack was going,
he probably swung at the Hina too. Man, Sherry, that's where it gets nasty. Add back Rebecca. Does he have a Becca? Shuffles back too. Yeah, there's the Rebecca right there. Add back Rebecca. Play Rebecca. Add back. You really just play 6 Rebeccas when you're playing Man Sherry. They're gonna add back Hina, play Hina, minus the Lucci, he's a 0/1, play Lucci, pop Lucci, and Hina, yup, just mirroring the plays, but he's got the Man Sherry, so now he's like forced to try to remove the Man Sherry too. Which is nice because like brand new can swing into it, so he's got that fortunately, but you have to remove the Man Sherry, otherwise they get a ton of value.
For those keeping score at home, that is 2 turns in a row. We'll see if we can break the record, but this could be
5 cards in hand for Harjovi.
Next turn for Voya there, because your opponent has no 1k counter. They've got 1 blocker on the board, and you've got a bunch of characters out at this stage. The question is, can you keep some of them out? Because Sakazuki does not like you keeping characters on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to see just a little bit of a discussion going on at the moment at the table. We're looking initially to try and see the man-sherry getting cleared, which I think is definitely the right call, the right option, being able to just continuously recycle that recursion for free.
Now you like have to counter their board, otherwise they're going to come swinging at you. So that's like the tricky part, is like if they keep your board clean and you can't keep theirs, then they're just going to have a ton of attacks going at your face, and at 1 life you don't want that. So what is Mirko going to do here? What could he have? Obviously, if he could just do the Rebecca, Hina, Lucci loop, again, he'd be in there, but also blocking with the Rebecca so you can add it to your trash if you don't have one. So that way then you can be like, play man-sherry, add back, and you're just like, boom, play Hina, play Lucci. So good. And it's a perfect 10 turn too, so like it's perfectly built for a 10 Don turn, which is lame.
Unless Mirko's drawing a bunch of cards, you kind of know they don't have much in the way of countering, and you can kind of force it, and maybe they do have a bunch of counter in hand, but if they're all 2k counter, just kind of buy some attacks off and just force your opponent to use 2k counters when 1k counters will do. We've already seen it happen once, and that's a situation where if I see my opponent doing that, I know they're struggling in terms of what's in their hand, and that is something I want to be trying to take advantage of sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously board clearing and trying to mitigate some of those threats that are coming back to Mirko's side of the field is going to be the most important. We're going to swing into life. I believe the cost has been reduced from Hina to 3 to 2, because that was the point that I was about to make, was there is a line of play here to get rid of a couple of different options, the brand new and the Lucci. If you swung from Sakazuki,
looks like he's getting ready to do something to Saka, or to Lucci.
Brand new, then use Great Eruption, reduce Lucci from a 4 cost to 2, then play down the Lucci. You're getting rid of both of those active threats.
Oh, there it is, Rebecca.
Threat as well in Hina by swinging that Sakazuki into Hina.
Add back. Now the question is, does he have another Hina in hand? He's going to add back the Hina. Does he have? I'm assuming he has the Lucci now. Hina minus the Lucci. Lucci's now. Can a character be a 0 cost? It's like 1. Yeah, it's like. I think they can. I think there's a card that specifically KOs a 0 cost.
Active for Mirko. He's thinking about swinging as well.
Maybe it's
with
1.
The second brand new.
Leaving that 4 up.
Where is it going to go? It's going to try and go into the Hina. So
interesting.
Just trying to tease out some counters from Havoye's hand, and then just going to drop
Havoye.
the Lucci. There goes the brand new. There goes the Lucci.
Boom, there it is. Lucci, back at it again. Man-sherry, the peel off. Of course, all the cards you can't add back with Rebecca, so you just put them back in the bottom of your deck. So that way you still have all your targets, and you'll probably never see those cards. But if you do, yeah, 3 and the 3, so fair. Such value. It's also what I dislike when I'm playing Ace is like brand new. Like if I swing with my 2k, they swing on it with a 3k, and I'm just like, yeah. And like, but like I couldn't return a 2k. It cost me Dawn commitment, which is unfortunate. But then brand new also swings 6 because of Hound Blaze.
I've lost like everything. I've got my Rebecca. That's it.
Yeah, just a quick look in the hand there. Obviously, Hervoye still has that 10-drop Kaido. He's still just been waiting on when's the right time to use it. He has Tsuru, Great Eruption, and I think another Lucci.
Of course, swinging there to put the pressure on the hand as opposed to just giving the value in hand. Because the wall of blockers really becomes an issue. Because they just wall up.
Just get rid of all of your opponent's blockers, try and get some attacks through later. It's not the only play, and Kaido does come down here, and it's a draw 4. Really, and drawing 4 in the One Piece TCG is
pretty strong, honestly. You're in a great spot, and you get to draw a ton of cards.
Body on the board. If your opponent takes it out, this is going to feel horrendous. But if you can stay on the board for a turn or more, this is going to start.
If he has Ice Age, he could clear it. But either way, I mean, the hand refresh is big, especially in the mirror. The 10 Kaido really matters.
As he has done throughout the game,
does Mirko drop one? Do they play the 10 Kaido?
I'll be interested to know how many Ice Age that Mirko still has left. He plays 2 in his list. Does he have at least one of them to be able to just make that 10 cost a little bit more manageable, a little bit more reachable? It'll only cost 1 Don to be able to do so as well, but I think if you're looking to try and get rid of it, we need an Ice Age. I think it's Tashigi double Hound Blaze though, for now. Sakazuki leader ability still could be used, and now Hervoye is actually going through the discard pile. 1 Ice Age is gone.
So there is potentially 1 available in the deck. And, you know, you've got a bit of work to do, but Ice Age will bring it down to a 5 cost. The leader skill will bring it down to a 4 cost. That's already in Borsalino range if you've got access to that card. But you can potentially bring it down further with some other cards and then use something like a Houndblade, for instance, to get rid of it. So the problem is not a huge amount of cards in hand. It's all very well talking about hypotheticals and what Mirko could do with a perfect hand. No one has a perfect hand, except maybe Hervoye here, who does have a ridiculous amount of cards in hand.
Yeah, he's been able to just filter through exactly what he's been wanting to find and wanting to have at his disposal.
Do you just go aggro and try to put him at 0?
Leader effect triggered and used.
Because you've got 3 swings. They've got 1 blocker. So you could go, you've got 10 Dawn. You go 8, 9, 9 if you want to do something wild.
Right now about defense.
The one thing about Sokka is they don't always have combo.
Get rid
7.
of that Kaido and potentially even just trying to swing over the top of everything and seeing what Hervoye has in hand. Here we go. 7 into life.
Makes sense.
And there goes the blocker Rebecca.
And then it looks like he has Mansherry and a Rebecca in hand, so he could recycle both of those.
You're going to try and counter up to keep on the board.
He could go 7-7, play a Sabo.
But you've already had your recovery with Rebecca and your free play.
It looks like that's going to be what he does. Get some of those cards out. Look at that. That's that Sabo from the store champion, what was it? The sealed battle. I love that card. It looks so good.
Can you keep going and getting rid of these attacks? Or are you going to be run out of resources? And the answer is, not quite yet.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, ton of counter in his hand. They're like a lot of 1Ks, but a lot of 3 counter cards, it looks like. So this next 7 probably hits if he swings 7.
Resources just sort of slightly dry out. There is still 7 Don at Mirko's disposal for him this turn, but with what looked like double Houndblaze in hand, you're not really going to be. You can bounce the brand new. Absolutely, and then swinging with your leader at a minimum 8,000 without the Don, then maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 7, and then I think we see
doesn't look like we're going to be able to go that route, or deciding not to go that route. Looks like maybe just swinging.
We would see the Sabo come down. We could also see.
It's not a situation
I doubt it at this point, but we could see.
Both sides, and we do finally see another life be taken. Both players go down to 1 life.
6 cards in it. Yeah, the Sabo makes sense. Gets the cycle through 2 more cards too, and his cards can't be destroyed, so Lucci has no power here. And then if he tries to clear board, he's got 2 blockers, and then so he needs to go on the defensive. He has to go on the defensive, otherwise he can put enough pressure on there to potentially win, because he's got 4 potential swings next turn. And if you swing at the characters, he's got 2 Rebecca, and they can't be destroyed, so you will have to Houndblaze them. So he's got to slap down a blocker, and if Mirko has like,
really nice find for Mirko as well, because obviously has that effect, draw 2, trash 2 cards.
If he has the Houndblaze to bottom deck, like if they play Sabo, you bottom deck boost. Essentially,
any sort of Rob Lucci shenanigans
pretty strong.
Are off the table because they KO. Cards like Houndblaze, they're still okay. Borsalino, because they bounce and bottom deck, but it doesn't mean that anything's necessarily going to the trash this turn.
Yeah, it gives us
still game 1. Still game 1. We're 30 minutes deep. So this is probably going to time, unless if whoever wins 2-0.
That with Sabo's skill that helps to keep them on the board, and then all of a sudden you are feeling very, very good about this.
Yep, so we see the Great Eruption used by Hervoye. That'll draw him 1 extra card. Don't believe we've seen him use his Sakazuki leader effect yet, so that could potentially be another card that we could filter through as well. And the cost is being reduced onto one of the Rebeccas. So that's at a 2 cost now as well. I think there is a Houndblaze at the front of the hand. There's a Lucci. There's double Houndblaze, it looks like there. A Tsuru. The other card's not as easy to potentially identify, but there's still options here for Hervoye to at least maybe try and force one of the blockers to go down from Mirko's own decision.
Yeah, Hervoye needs, it looks like he's got a Houndblaze.
Sakazuki leader effect, which is right.
Which will remove 1 card, but he needs a blocker. He needs something to protect him at this point. Houndblaze. What's he? He's just Houndblazing the Rebecca? Wow. Okay. That allows him to put a swing on. That potentially lets him clear a character. Because if he goes 12 at a character, you're going to Rebecca, and then you've got an 8k leader right now. You make it 9. You go 9 at Hina. You're definitely clearing.
That is a taller order, unfortunately. And then
still has 3 swings on the return, though, so if you... He does have a Man-Sherry, right? I think he has Man-Sherry and Rebecca. Ooh, doing that. Does he have it, or is he just going for the draw? He could just be cycling. Or if he has another Houndblaze, could be huge. Oh, there it is, the second Houndblaze. So now he's got a 6k and 8k. He's going to swing 8 at the Lucci. Yep, it'll cost 2 cards. Probably just has to let it go.
This is 8,000 into the Lucci, it looks like. Waiting to see what the 1 cost reduction is also.
Yeah,
and then he can still play his Rebecca.
Combined with the Great Eruption would have brought it down to a 2 cost, so it would have been a target.
Really good. Just 6? Just 6? Wow. And he loses it there. Okay, 12. I think you just, yeah, you have to take that. Wow. Oh, a Pilaf.
Which actually goes through, but it is a Sanji's Pilaf which draws 2 cards. I mean, if you're going to give up your last life, that's not a bad way to do it. But
if he can remove the blocker, he's got 4 cards in game. What did he add back? A 2k probably? 5? He could do a weak attempt at game, but they usually add back a 2k to prevent the game. So that's always like, because if he goes Great Eruption, Houndblaze, he uses that 3 Dawn, he could go 10-11 to attempt to win. It looks like he's got at least 3 2Ks, so it looks like no matter what, he just can't win this turn.
Is undoubtedly going to be blocked by Rebecca. So then if the other goes through with a fair amount of dot, or is even allowed through just naturally at 5,000 or 6,000 power, whichever decides to swing first, he's got a fair amount of defensive options to ward off a follow-up with potentially a load of Don attached underneath it to try and see if this is going to be the swing for game or not.
Yeah, with no cards of Rush coming down in the Sakazuki deck, if you've got a blocker on board, a bunch of counters including a new 2k in your hand, that means you feel very good about surviving into your next turn. You're pretty, if you're Hervoye here, you're feeling pretty good that you're not going to end up losing this game. The problem, or this turn, the problem then becomes, have you got enough on your turn? You've got a decent swing with your leader, you've got a good swing with your Kaido, and the goal really is to try and assuming the board stays like this, which obviously may well not, you want to try and get rid
Great
of
Eruption, okay, is it the Great Eruption Houndblaze, just hurrah for GG? Oh, is that the top deck Houndblaze?
You are not countering out of that.
Yeah.
He just top decked the Houndblaze.
We're going to see a Houndblaze.
Wow.
That's going to get rid of the Rebecca, the 3,000 power from that.
So Sabo is a 9. You still got 7, but again, he's got 11k in counter, it looks like. So like your best is 10, 11.
What, 7 Don left remaining as well. The attachment of this and the numbers game becomes really, really important. Mirko knows that Hervoye has at least 1 2k counter in hand.
Does he have another Houndblaze? And he's going to do 11. He goes 9, 10, 11, yep. Is he going to go 11, 11? But he's got 3, he's got 2 grandmas, and he's got a Suru. So it looks like he just has it.
Yeah, and that'll be swinging at 10 as well. So this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be a routine decision to be able to make. He's got
Boom, there it is. Yep.
And you can let the next one go through. The next one doesn't matter.
Imagine he plays a rush Lucci.
Honestly, all it does is that point is just give
I think he's a
Red
6'7" now,
what is
so he couldn't.
quite
But
possibly going to be your final turn of the game. So being able to counter one of those away was fantastic. There's only going to be one more attacker.
there it is.
Like
Game 1 goes to
Yeah,
we see the win
absolutely.
from Hervoye there, and we are
Hervoye.
1 game up in this top 4, and we are 1 game away from booking our first player into the final.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter who wins here, though, both players are going to nationals. Not here, but like whoever's in the finals, both players are going to go to nationals.
You're happy to take. All you do is just pass the turn over. There
Crowd's
is the
going
celebration
crazy.
from the crowd. Because then all you do is just stick 10 Don under Kaido and go, okay, counter 22,000. I dare ya.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There was no blocker on the board, so at that stage, the Kaido was absolutely just going to swing as a 22k, and you knew your opponent, there was absolutely no chance of countering out of it. There was no blocker. That was the last turn, and as soon as that first attack got countered, the writing was on the wall. I don't know how many of you guys at home have been watching the stream all weekend. I hope you have. It's been fantastic. That viewing area was quite small yesterday. There was a few chairs there. There were a few people watching as we were going through the early games. In the last couple of rounds, I've not been casting. At times, I've been sitting over there in the viewing area. It is hard to get a chair close enough to get a decent view and be able to hear the commentary and all of that. It is becoming very, very crowded over in the viewing area, and it's kind of awesome now because every time there's a big play or an end of a game, we get a big cheer. Yeah, which is lovely.
Absolutely, we love to see it. Obviously, as we're coming down to the end of the weekend, winding down all of the side events and the main event as well. Everybody is wanting to find out. Everybody's wanting to know what deck and what player is going to be crowned European champion and book their ticket to the World Championship Finals as well. It's been an amazing weekend, an amazing experience, and hopefully the crowd and you guys at home are sticking along with us for the rest of the ride.
I mean, I feel very confident it's going to be a fun end to the stream, but I have to correct you there, Ben. No one is waiting to see which deck wins this tournament. We already know which deck is winning this tournament. It is going to be Sakazuki, but you're right, and we are seeing high-level play here. The Sakazuki mirror is not an easy game to play.
No.
This is not a, I'm going to draw faster and I'm going to rush. There's a lot of decisions being made.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really thought-intensive experience, and for these two players who have undoubtedly already had so many of them throughout today, throughout this weekend, they've got to concentrate. Hervoye potentially just for this one more game in this top 4 matchup to go to the final, and for Mirko, the next 2. As we are underway, Hervoye is going first. He just uses that Sakazuki leader ability and passes. And Mirko, there's the turn 1 brand new that he was hoping for in that last game.
That is the goal. That is what you're looking for. And here's the thing. This is where it gets awkward. Hervoye here is going to be in a good position, having won game 1. And, you know, win game 2, you're good to go. The issue becomes with Mirko. If you win this game, how do you end up then? We're going to go to time. There is no way we're getting a game 3 here unless this game is exceptionally short.
Yeah. I think he just has to try and just push. Just really try and push. Really just try and make the aggression. Try and turn the tempo up a little bit. As hard as that can be in a Sakazuki mirror match, because you're both just trying to outfox each other. That's going to be the situation here. If not, if we're both just going to play sheepish and on the fence, then it will once again come down to cards in deck. And I don't think that my heart can take that, not for a second time.
And cards in deck is going to be a lot different to what it was playing in Nami, because with Nami, you're like, one deck is actively trying to deck out. They are not winning the tiebreaker. Cards in deck will not be the case here. So we've seen a brand new from both players, searching out some of those Navy cards. We have seen one swing from Hervoye here, taking a life, and it seems like we tried to do it with Mirko, but actually not quite the same. Tashiki came down to counter it away. There was a Sanji's Pilaf to draw a couple of cards, and I believe we are going back to Hervoye's side of the board now.
Yeah, he's certainly just a sort of slow, pacey start here at the moment. It's interesting actually looking at Hervoye's discard pile, because in there, the keen eye that among you might have spotted, the 3-cost Bartolomeo, the blocker that's 3,000 power, but also importantly, a 2k counter. That is his only copy in this list. So it's another little interesting discrepancy, another little interesting tech and change that one of these players has elected to put into their deck. It'd be interesting to find out the thought process behind it.
It will indeed. Maybe we can ask later, but we do have a Kazan hitting the board here. And in the same way we saw a championship Borsellino, we see a championship Kazan. Somebody who it seems is very used to winning.
Yeah, it's very... I certainly can't sit here and lie that I'm a little bit envious of those championship cards. They are absolutely amazing and well worth their weight in terms of earning them as well. And the performances you put in. We are still, I believe... on Mirko's turn now, was passed onto him as the Sakazuki leader effect is used. He's going to send away a Kazan of his own, not quite the same championship style artwork.
And we see a Rebecca coming down. So here we got the usual thing. You get to recover a 3 to 7 cost, and then you get to play a 4 cost or lower. So there is your Hina coming in, being played for free, and that is going to lower down a cost. And then the question is, are you going to be able to find the Rob Lucci to go along with it?
No, not in this situation. The Houndblaze is just as good, but with Rebecca only being able to play out 3 costs or less.
I was going to say, I said 4 cost. I don't know why I said that. It's 3 cost. We've seen it like 50 times on the stream. I do know it's a 3 cost.
We're just so used to it from going from Rebecca to Hina to Lucci just almost all at once and instantaneously. But the swing in, Hervoye is at 3 life. We are tied between the two in game 2. And we are on Hervoye's turn. Plenty of options to look at as well. A greater Raption if we want to start reducing cost and drawing an extra card as well. I think there is an Altat Rebecca that's in the hands if we want to start bringing some situations and some resources back into hand and potentially onto board. There's a lot of 3-cost cards that are in Hervoye's discard pile. And he's going to add to it as well. Now.
We discard the Hina to draw a card with that leader skill, and then we're eyeing up the Don. How many have we got? How many do we want to use? What is going to be the option here? The card has been brought to the front, but it seems like we're going to see a cheeky swing. Oh, not a cheeky swing into light. Oh, now we got the Hina's being reduced. So we are seeing a cheeky swing into life, but then we're also seeing the Hina having a cost reduction. But Suru comes down to counter. Once again, though, that was a 2k counter when a 1k counter would have done. And once again, Hervoye is going to see that and go, hang on a second. Either you're out of counter or I can start really making you give some up.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, actually, Ross. I was just about to say the exact same thing as we see Greater Raption drawing that extra card, reducing the Rebecca down to 2. There is the Houndblaze as well to follow up.
Because you kind of know your opponent's not got good counter, so you're like, hey, Brownie's a good attacker now, and now I can go after that Hina that I do not want to see sitting on the board. So I love that. Knowing that your opponent has not got good counter, launching an attack straight away.
Well, it was actually the Hina that was targeted by the Houndblaze, which was interesting. I think a lot of us would have immediately just sort of assumed that the Rebecca would be the one to bottom deck and then swing the 6k brand new into Hina, but just deciding, no, I want to make sure that that potential attacking threat is off the board. I don't care about your blocker. I'm going to play one down on my own as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. We do see the Rebecca that we've had on the lovely banner you've been seeing all weekend here. It's a blocker, and you get yourself a 3 to 7 cost back, and then you get to play a 3 cost black card from your hand. And yeah, not bad at all. It's one of the most impactful cards from OP05. It's one of the cards that's made the biggest difference to the metagame, and it fits so well into Sakazuki.
Yeah, and we see that Hina was the one that was picked to be brought back as well. The -4 cost doesn't really have too many implications at this stage, but the 5k body is certainly more than enough as the brand new goes and trades with the other one. Happy to stay around and happy to get rid of that potential Houndblaze target that we saw earlier on as well. 2k counter from the leader swing.
Was that another 2k that wasn't needed?
Yeah, this is the thing as well with these Sakazuki decks, is that like the counters, I think that players are comfortable with countering away, or at least this seems to be what I'm picking at.
I've been providing some insight. I was just eating, so I don't want y'all to hear me crunching, but
throwing away your 1k counters. those seem to just be 2,000 power counters. You're not really
But honestly, I mean, just watching what they do, this is gameplay at the highest level. By two players who definitely deserve to be here. And I'm also, like, I'm watching to learn.
And that's the thing. When we say there's no 1K counter, what we really mean is there's no 1K
Boom.
counter.
Look at that. Yeah, because you hit the Hina just because Rebecca, you're going to get Rebecca no matter what.
It's a character that needs to be
but the
somewhere else. Now,
Hina provides a ton of just aggro,
here, not for the first time. Being able to take a character off the board,
which you just don't want your opponent to have.
Decent-sized body to actually be attacking with.
It's a great card to be able to just put down straight on.
Bottom decking Rebecca though is kind of lit because Man Sherry comes up. The meta will change with OP06, then you just get Moria, who's a 5-life black leader that does everything Lucci does. But he also plays an 8-drop that brings back Epsilon, and also swings 9, and brings back a 2-drop that mills more cards. It's gross, truthfully. But you get Yamato, which is a double attack swinger too, which is just cool.
Then we see
the Sabo being played.
That is a Sabo being played. That's the different artwork, but it is a Sabo there coming down. There's 3 blockers on the board now, which is fantastic, because it means you're going to be able to ward off a whole bunch of attacks.
I mean, any deck can beat any deck, but it's less of a triangle format like we have right now, where this deck is really good into this deck and whatnot. But Moria is essentially Doflamingo that doesn't have to play cards from your hand or deck. It plays it from your grave, so like anything in your trash goes. And Yamato's a double attack leader.
Like you said, you're not
it just has double attack.
Whatever might be swinging my way, I can just throw these blockers in front of it quite happily.
Yeah, I like that. Having multiple blockers out, being able to block all of them is lovely. I'm worried slightly about the attacking threats, but you can use Sabo as an attacker. We got 16 minutes left on this game, plus your overtime of 10 minutes. So it is going to be interesting to see.
The wall of blockers too.
We've only seen 3 life in total being taken here.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it'd be a lot better just without Rebecca though. Or Lucci.
Still just playing a little bit of defense, getting those blockers out.
Everything's going to be very expensive, truthfully. I'm going to release a video today, but like Borsalino is played in pretty much every deck in OP06. So not only are they played in OP05, but going into OP06, you're going to want Borsalino even more. And so OP02 needs a restock, or Borsalino needs to be reprinted, but I'm scared to see the Borsalino prices come March.
Or 3 turns, whichever ends first. Hervoye is in the grand final because he's 1 game up in the best of 3 set. So he is more than happy to just play defense, be able to take things slow, and hopefully try and coast through to victory.
Yeah, it's the pressure's on Mirko to deal damage. Goes 7, you get the Rebecca. Oh, he blocks and does the 2. That's smart. That's smart.
Whereas if you need to go aggressive, and look, Hervoye is still absolutely trying to win this.
Because then you still like blocking and then countering out, you still get it. So I wonder if he has plans for 8, or if he should have just swung 8 first.
But in a safer manner, you don't have
probably all of them, just because you never know if they're going to become relevant, and it's an old set that's having a lot of hype, so it's worth having them. I think I own a playset of like all the super rares now, except for I think Queen.
From Hervoye's side of the field has actually worked out better for Mirko. He's forced a blocker to be used on the board.
Because at this point, like, I mean, it's better to have it and not need it. Like, if you have the capacity, I would just get them all. Wow, going up for the counter power. And look at that. It looks like he drew all counter. Oh, he drew another 10 cost Kaido, but he drew 2K, 1K, 1K. And so he's got a... Oh, and he cycles it out. Did he get another counter card? Oh, he's got a handful of counter.
Or potentially swing the game right into your favor, because
now can he remove it? Does he just Ice Age, leader swing, and then play another Lino? Does he have any Ice Age in his trash? It doesn't look like it. But if not that, if he can't remove that Kaido, it's going to put a ton of pressure on him for Mirko. Rebecca will always be, yeah, I mean, Rebecca and OP05, the good news is like they're working to reprint OP05 as likely to be reprinted before like OP01, and I think they have like March 2024 stock confirmed. Yeah, OP01 Yamato, I think I need to pick up another one. I don't think I need a playset, but I have 2. I have 2. I think 3's fine.
To hurt your opponent's board setup, playing other attackers, maybe playing some more blockers down. I love the 10-drop Kaido, but that is kind of a one-time thing. You play to, and I'm sure...
I mean, you can. There's a difference. Like, I mean, a lot of it's like aggro. Some of it's like fortress.
By the time you get to the point in the game where it's really useful.
I don't know. It feels really, really funny to just...
Off the top of my head, I mean, it's definitely not a popular card. I think more so like Odin support.
On the board between the two. It just feels amazing and hilarious, but unfortunately not going to see that at this stage. What we are going to see is
Great Eruption. That's a great start.
And deciding now, Mirko, I believe, to what to give -2 cost 2. I think it's got to be the Rebecca in this.
If he does the Rebecca, that means he doesn't have the removal for the Kaido, or he might try for a Lucci. Oh no, just the Hound Blaze. Okay, but putting a ton of pressure at face right now. He does have like a handful of counter, but it's a ton of pressure going at the face. Yeah, you can play it in Odin with the 4 cost, or is it a 3 cost? It's a 4 cost or 3 cost to let you play a 5. Happy to do it. Honestly, I wanted to wake up and stream the whole thing, but I woke up late. Real talk. I had a 4 AM alarm set.
From the swing from leader Sakazuki, boost up to 8,000 power there. You can see with the Hound Blaze just slid underneath it, just a little bit of a reminder. Now one of the
did he counter out of it?
He's going to attack. That will take life from her Voyer.
Oh yeah, it looks like he did. Oh, I think he discarded 2 1Ks on that 8.
What's the follow-up though in this situation when you know you've got 12?
Is he gonna play another Lino? He's got 7 Dawn left. Just a man Sherry. That's gonna get him going back. Add back the Rebecca.
Throughout this matchup.
I think the follow-up is use man Sherry.
Or is he gonna get a Sabo?
Which is going to get you a black character of a cost of 3 to 5.
A Lucci, interesting.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I certainly think that's kind of future-proofing for next turn. Certainly, if her Voyer
and playing a Lino, nice.
As well, just to make things even more complicated. But just like that, it's swung so firmly into the favor of Mirko at this situation in the game.
And that's one of the issues of playing the 10-cost Kaido. You take a turn off from developing your board. You take, other than the Kaido, of course. You take a turn off from trying to hurt your opponent's board.
That Ice Age is spicy.
You got the 4 cards for next turn. You got your 12k to be swinging with, but
double Ice Age leader swing clears 2 Linos with a Lucci.
Doesn't happen very often in a Sakazuki mirror, and we've seen that Mirko.
2 blockers is really strong too, so he could protect that man Sherry. So like he could block Rebecca, block Lino, use man Sherry, bring back Rebecca, play Rebecca, add back Lino, cast Lino.
Very good position for this turn and next turn.
Yeah, you just might have seen a little motioning there from Mirko.
He needs
the 2 table judges that are there in the feature match.
Harvoje needs
on how much time actually remains in this
top 64. I think there was one in top 64.
Top of your screen. He's already in,
but he has to play a blocker, otherwise he's done. If he has Mansherry or Rebecca, it looks like he has Mansherry. He could go 7. Okay.
It's not going to be irrelevant, but I'm saying
maybe he's going to try to clear a Lino. He could clear a Lino and then go like Rebecca. He could Ice Age Rebecca Lucci if he goes 12 here. You get the blocker. Yeah, he Ice Ages 1, Hina's the other. And then you'll have a 2 and a 1. Right? 6 minus 4. Yeah, and then so it's a 2 Ice Age. Oh, just the Lucci on the 1 and clearing that and the Man Sherry. Solid.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. Takes care of a couple of those attacking threats. Also took care of the blocker, obviously.
And he gets the blocker. Let's see if
So all of a sudden, yet again, things just...
If Mirko has removal for that Rebecca, which it doesn't take much, he very well could push for game.
4 potential attackers if you include the leader to be able to swing into next turn.
He looks like he's got about 4K in counter. Still a lot of cards in his hand with counter, but they all look like 1Ks.
Reduce the Hina and the Lucci and get those into Lucci range himself, I think, to try and get any kind of opportunity to keep alive in this game.
Yeah, that is absolutely what you're going to be going for. Of course, you've got a couple of good attackers on the board. One of them is a blocker as well. So this does seem to be still a pretty even game. And I know Havoya's got a slightly better board state, but we've seen in Sakazuki mirrors that doesn't really mean very much.
Oh, he's just doing a regular 5 swing.
Like 10 seconds. We'll see where we are then.
Okay.
We do see a counter out of an attack there.
Any minuses? Is he going to go for a play to Rebecca, Lucci, or the Lucci, the Hina? We know he has Lucci. Oh, and it looks like he's got a Hound Blaze. Suru. Looks like he has 2 Rebeccas. Which makes sense why he would grab the Lucci. So he could, it's a 2, he could go Rebecca, Hina, Hina the Rebecca, drop the Lucci, KO the Hina. Yeah, that's probably what he's going to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go add back the Hina, play the Hina, minus the Rebecca. Oh, he's going to rob minus the Lucci. He says, I don't care about your blocker, which makes sense because he's going to swing with Borsellino, and he probably gets the Becca. So he's going to get Rebecca regardless. Puts back the 3. And then he's just going to all in, just really wants that blocker. Yep. And so now he just has that Kaido, 2 blockers, and a big board. Once again, putting Harvogé that he needs, he has to wall up. Otherwise, he's got a ton of attacks.
You know what? I am loving Mirko's position here. We are in that, the stalemate we tend to see in the middle of these games where both players are on, 1 or 2 life for a very, very, very long time. But there comes a point where it builds up and it builds up and it builds up and then the dam breaks. And then we see an end to the game. And Mirko is building up a board here that makes it look like we could be getting there. But Havoya's got a bunch of cards in hand. Maybe he can, maybe he can Sakazuki his way out of this. I'm turning it into a verb and you can't stop me.
Well, one of those Sakazuki options is going to be the leader skill itself. Is going to elect to discard the Man Cherry.
Imagine he just played another 10 Kaido.
That won't take up any Don right now.
He's mapping out some plays.
10 left to work with. We've got Ice Age, we've got Tsuru. I think we've got a Borsellino
7.
That's in hand as
Does he just do the Rebecca?
Starts off with a 7,000.
Or does he hit the Lino, turn the Lino sideways, and give him a 2K? He's just going to do 2K, 1K. 3 cards in hand for Mirko?
Keep them up so that he can attack with them next turn. 8 left.
The Borsellino's a very good attacker.
12.
Not a good attacker.
Get the Rebecca. Keeping his board safe. He has another Rebecca in hand, too. Rebecca, Hina, Ice Age, Lucci would get rid of that Kaido.
Lucci as an attacker, the Borsellino as an attacker, the other Borsellino is either an attacker or a blocker.
Looks like he's still got 2 Linos in his hand. This man saw all his Borsellinos. Yeah, double Lino.
But double
Pass.
Borsellino blocker, that is what we're talking about here. We needed some blockers coming down from Havoya.
Yep.
Getting those 2 down is absolutely huge.
That's massive there for Havoya's chances at survival of this turn. It means that 4 attacks that can go through, potentially 5 as well if you're going to swing with the block.
Gonna start off with the 8 because that's what you should swing, see if they take it. 9! 9! That's interesting.
Swing in with blue Borsellino.
I don't think he has any 2Ks. Oh, he's got a Suru. He's got a Suru and a Shigi. So he's got 2 2Ks. A Suru. Oh, is he gonna? He's gonna Hound Blaze. There it is. Bottom deck the 1. This might be it. 9 at face. Boom, all in. There it is. Mirko takes game 2. We're going to game 3. Overtime is 10 minutes or 3 turns. So they'll want to kick things off right away.
We don't have enough time for game 3.
Yeah, this one, it looks like he's going to be finishing in overtime with just about 3 minutes left.
It really depends. So this is going to come down to skill and knowing how to play in overtime.
Reaction from the crowd there as well, in full support of Mirko, in full support of the opportunity and the ability there to bring himself back into that game, because that certainly was not straightforward by any means necessary. But Mirko and Havoye tied up at a game apiece in top 4, looking for a way to get themselves in our grand final. The loser, of course, moves on, as we said, and you said yourself at the beginning of the pre-match coverage, to the 3rd place playoff.
Yes.
To try and go for that lead, that trophy, and that 3rd place 9 cost. Kaido.
I am going to be at LA.
These players necessarily lose out too much. They've still got that one chance at redemption in a 3rd place playoff, but they all want to get into the final, and they want that Kaido to say 1st place.
Oh,
For sure, yeah. If you whoever wins this secures a Kaido either 1st or 2nd place, and they secure a spot to Japan, because 1st and 2nd place get to go to Japan.
You're going to have a Sakazuki mirror for a Kaido, but you've got win and get a 3rd place, lose and get nothing, or win and get a 1st place, lose and get a 2nd place. I know which game I'd rather be playing in. We're not going to have 3 minutes, though. We're going to have significantly less than 3 minutes. We were at 3 minutes before. We're going to have almost no time. By the time this game actually starts, we are going to have almost no time at all. We haven't even opened the game yet. We are down to less than 2 minutes remaining. We are going to go almost straight into overtime. So, Ben, pop quiz. The first 3 tiebreakers in order.
So in this situation, the first 3 tiebreakers, after playing the 10 minutes of overtime,
Life,
or 3 turns, whichever concludes,
cards in deck, then characters on board.
To life count. If the life count is equal, it then goes to cards in deck, as we saw in the last round, Fabian and Sakazuki beating the Nami deck. If both of those are the same, for whatever reason, then it goes to characters left on board, and if those are the same as well, which, let's be perfectly fair, is a little bit rare in the Sakazuki mirror matchups with the back and forth interactions that they have.
They're both, I mean, they're both here for a reason. They're top 4. They're competing to go to Japan right now.
Head on life, essentially. So, yeah, that's it's a little bit awkward, but I don't think we're going to get that far down. It is going to be life and cards in deck, and then characters. They are the 3 that we are most worried about here, and it really does seem like we are going to tiebreakers. Havoye just starts off with that leader skill, discarding the Kaido, drawing a card. That 10-drop Kaido, that's not for this game. We see a Borsalino
Yeah, you don't want that. You're not going to get to use that.
Do we have the brand new that we often
Again,
see?
time is a skill in and of itself, because you need to know how to pressure your opponent. And honestly, he probably chose to go first, that way he got the first attack. Because he might honestly just go 8 here. 8 here puts a ton of pressure on their life. Yep, there it is. Can you counter? If you can, I think you do. If he doesn't have 2 2Ks, giving up 3 cards is a lot. But if he can counter out, and then he can go 9 and knock them down by 1, it's going to change a huge dynamic in the game. He takes it. The timer might not be exactly accurate, but honestly, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. You have life first. Life is first. You could play Rush Usopp. I think Rush Usopp would have been spicy, truthfully. Because, like, Sakazuki, if they don't have a blocker, or they probably swing with their blocker, you drop one of those and go, like, 9. Probably connects.
We have a die in the middle, which I believe is saying that Havoye here is turn 1. I believe that is
so it looks like time just entered. He went 5. Interesting for Mirko. Because now, like, it feels like you just want to play blockers, yep. But then your opponent plays a blocker, and you have to stop them, and you have to figure out a way to hit them. But you can't remove the blocker. You can remove the blocker. Houndblaze is going to be a huge card here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at the hand of Havoye. There's a Tsuru, Mancherry, Great Eruption, double Houndblaze. He's digging one more card. It's a Tashigi. That will certainly help with being able to defend.
Is that a Houndblaze in his hand? There it is. That's a huge. That's really going to define what happens here. Oh, yeah, because now he's an 8K, and so now he can do another 8 at the face, and he's already taken damage. He might just go all in. Yep, putting him at that 2. If he puts him at 2, there's not much that he can do. Yeah.
Your opponent
How
cannot
many?
get
What is that?
around
10,
it.
2,
10K
4,
with
9.
the
One
two
more
Dom
2K.
there
Do
as
you
well.
have 3 2Ks? Oh
My goodness,
no.
I think we're actually
That's
going
super
out
expensive.
there.
Super
We counter out
expensive.
of that giant swing.
Question
Do
is,
not
can he
wanna go
now
down
play a
by too
blocker?
light
Can he
for
play
your
another
Mirko here.
blocker?
It looks like Mirko
And
is now
can
being
he
turned
do
green. This is the
7?
final turn of this top 4 game, and Mirko is down 1 life.
The only real opportunity that Mirko has here, in all honesty, is going to be swinging with Sakazuki. Put all your Donna underneath and just hope that there is not enough counter in hand. There's no cards in range.
Taking that first
in
damage
these lists
on
whatsoever.
Mirko was
There's no
not
characters on
amazing.
board or anything to have to worry about or try and deal with. Mirko's gonna
Because
take
now he
a
knows
bit
you
of
have no
stock,
2K
take a little
also,
bit of time. There's
which
still
puts
plenty
more
of time
pressure
left
on you.
on the game
He
clock
could
in this
go.
situation. I didn't expect
Yeah, it
we'd
doesn't
be
have
seeing
any character on board. Is this the final
Very,
turn?
very
It might just be
different. This is
over.
not a
Or he
situation
could go.
where
It could go
I'm
to
trying
cards
set
and
up
deck,
my
and he
board
might be able to
across
pull it
my
off.
opponent. This is, oh my goodness, I need to take life right now. And Mirko does, incidentally. This is the final turn. So
If this is the
Mirko
final
does
turn, he
take
can
life.
hit him.
That is it. Hervoye
He can
will
play
be the
one
winner.
character. What's the
Mirko
cheapest
does
character
take
he
life.
has? He can play a
Exactly
character and then
what
swing
life
all
is
in on
he can
face.
take. Then we're counting cards in deck.
Playing that, of course, getting
However,
3K for 2.
what have we got?
We've got the Houndblade.
You can tell the nerves are getting to him. Hey, oh no! Oh no!
Anything else that can be done? There isn't. There's a fist bump. So it looks like Hervoye is moving on to the final.
Hervoye makes it.
That top 4 as time expired in overtime. Congratulations. But the good news is both of these players have a Sakazuki mirror to look forward to.
Absolutely.
That's
Well
nuts.
played throughout
Wow.
the games, and that best of 3 set there from Hervoye. I just
That's
can't
crazy.
feel as
Wow.
there is the reaction from the crowd in celebration of Hervoye's victory. I just can't help but think that he didn't swing with enough. If he plays 2, puts the Houndblade down, and then just goes ahead and swings with the rest of the Don attached, you're relying on the counters left in Mirko's hand to defend any follow-up. It at least puts him within that little bit of an opportunity, that little bit of a window.
I felt like I would have just went all in.
Unfortunately not. We ended up running out of time, and it really is that.
Went all in and just maybe you had the same amount of cards in deck, same cards on board. Last person to take life would be the last tiebreaker, so it would have been him. So if they had the same amount of cards in hand. Because I remember the one guy cycled. So if you didn't cycle, you should technically have the same cards.
This is the championship finals, the only one we're having this season in Europe. And moving on to the final, you guarantee that Kaido, you guarantee that trophy. Honestly, you've guaranteed a lot of the coolest prizes. Now you just need to change the number on them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's both done so well to get to this stage as well. Take nothing away from either of these players, but unfortunately the nature of the system and the nature of it all being one player has to win, one player has to fall. It does mean, obviously, with the way that this tournament has gone, both these players do have that one extra match. There is that one extra chance at redemption. But Hervoye is going to potentially be, and it is one step closer to lifting that Champions Trophy.
Yeah, fantastic game, very well played. And you see, we got into the overtime there and both players immediately changed the way they were playing. All of a sudden, you're not playing the regular Sakazuki. You are doing everything you can to just get slightly ahead on life. Just right at the end of the game there was almost no time. We had less than 2 minutes when we started that third game. It really was just going to come down to the free turns and the tiebreaker, and it's heartbreaking when you lose in top 4.
Time is tough.
You do not get
Time
top
is
4
tough.
unless you are a fantastic, phenomenal player, and they both are.
Absolutely.
And one of them gets to go to the final and one of them doesn't. And both of those players, they could both have ended up as the champion of this tournament with just slightly different draws here and there, slightly different decisions here and there. But this is kind of the point, and it's harsh, right? When you get to this part of the tournament, we are kicking people out, and we're doing that at a stage where they are missing.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, like, because it would have came down to whoever took life last. So, like, if he went all in, he might have known he had less cards in deck, though. Because then, like, if it came down to the same cards in deck.
And he is ready in our interview area with
Oh.
Mina.
Thank you, Ben, thank you. Wow, congratulations on that win. You're in the final. How are you feeling?
Honestly, I don't feel the impact yet, probably because I'm so focused on the game, but I'm sure I'm going to be very happy tomorrow that I'm going to Japan for the World, so yeah.
That is an insane feeling, going to Japan. I think you
Yep, secured his spot to Japan. That's crazy.
What's your thoughts? Why the game?
Well, first of all, the win was kind of lame. I hate winning in time, especially as I get to choose who goes first game 3. Usually I would choose to go second and be very advantaged from that position, but I won on time, which is kind of stupid, but I guess it's part of the game because game 1 took so long to win. But generally, yeah.
I don't know if how many cards they had. That's why I was like, I think it might have been just worth. They might have had the same amount, and then he would have tried to That's probably why I was trying to play the body. Because then if that attack connected and then he played the body, but like if he went all in, it would have came down to cards and deck, and if he had more cards, he would have won. But if they had the same, it goes to characters on board. They both had 0, and then I believe it goes to the person who took the last life loses, and that would have been him.
Chances. Purple Luffy is like alright, but generally the meta call felt like it was the dominant deck in Japan, like very dominant. It's going to be the same in the West, so yeah, went with the deck.
So you were prepared for that. You did play very well. You did play very, very good, and you deserved that win. And now you're in the final. Very congratulations, and I wish you all the luck for the finals.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, we're going to break now, and then we're back again for the final round.
Ooh, I wonder, do you guys know? Chat. It looks like it's gonna be the public because the word said pre-order, so it sounds like they're launching it to celebrate. I plan on posting it as soon as it goes live. Is my ambition over there on X. I'm gonna try to post it. I'm also gonna buy. I think I'm gonna buy. I would like to buy 8. Truthfully, I would like to buy 8. Just because Jinbei. I mean, that Jinbei is huge. Like, I'm assuming it's gonna be $30. And Jinbei right now is $40. The question is, are we going to get them before July? That's really, are we going to get them before July? Are they going to deliver them in a reasonable time? I really wish is that pickup only? I don't think so. I don't think it's pickup only. I believe it is. Pre-order for everybody. The way that it was worded. I want an insane. I want the craziest 10-drop.
It's time for the finals.
Here we are.
I'm joined by Ben. We are at the One Piece European Championships, and I am delighted. The championship finals from Utrecht. Excuse me, we've got a Sakazuki mirror.
We have got a Sakazuki mirror yet again. We got confirmation that it is Fabian, the player who knocked out our unsung hero of Nami in top 8. He's managed to win his top 4 matchup, which, funnily enough, was also a Sakazuki.
Wait, did Antonio win?
And we have our 2 players, Fabian and Hervoye, who made it through.
Fabian, no.
Yeah, I did have a chat with Hervoye after the game.
No.
I'm not very good at, but I did get confirmation of the pronunciation and got to wish him luck for the finals. Lovely dude. And of course, important to know, you know, if you're Hervoye, you're thinking, I've just won a Sakazuki mirror.
Yeah.
I feel great about this final.
Yeah.
But if you're Fabian, you're thinking,
I'm
feeling great about this final. Both of these players have just literally won this matchup against one of the best One Piece players in the world, and have got to be going into this feeling incredibly good, and yet they're playing against someone else in the same position they are.
Yeah, it's such an incredible situation that we found ourselves in. There is the one thing that is going to potentially make the difference, however, is that this is an untimed grand final. So
untimed!
There will be no room
yes!
to win game 1 and try and play and defend for time and allow my tiebreakers to win me the grand final. This is going to go to an end. It's going to go the distance. So we will.
Who's Rails Zero? Which player is that?
A crowned European.
Oh, I follow him. Is that someone commented that they were going to win?
Because that might come into play if we end up in a game 3 with a Sakazuki mirror. But in all seriousness, I like having an untimed final. I like knowing that we're going to have, I mean, for want of a better phrase, a proper champion. What I don't want to have is they're one game each. Oh, one player just happen to get 1 life ahead on the final pivotal turn. I want somebody who wins 2 games and then they are crowned the champion. That's what I'm looking for here, and that's what we're going to get in an untimed final, and that's what makes me happy. I want to crown an actual
That's
champion,
insane, bro.
not a champion who won because the tiebreakers worked out nicely.
Get him on the channel, Castle. Get him on the channel. Yeah, somebody, were you the one who, Castle, were you the one who commented that he was going to win? Somebody commented on my post yesterday saying that he was going to win.
Go through, let all their players have their due diligence. And look, it might come to a situation where one player just draws better than the other, or one player does just have that little momentary lapse in concentration, counters something away they shouldn't have, or lets through an attack that they shouldn't have, or something like that. Those are the very famous.
Honestly, if you're them in this position, you feel really good. Because, like, you're going to Japan, you're getting first or second, you're guaranteed the Kaido, you're guaranteed everything except for the title of champion. And so it's just, I mean, it's all the marbles. Well, we're about to go, yeah. Right, regardless, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you've made it, you've won all of the prizes. It's now a matter of, are you number 1? Are you number 1? And that's what you're playing for. That was me when I was in, I mean, technically second got like a playmat, but when I was in the finals at the Treasure Cup, top 2, yes, top 2. Next season, it's only first. There's 2 championships, and only first from both go. But this one, it's first and second. The trophies, that's it. Bragging rights. But, like, when I went into round 8 or round 9 of the Treasure Cup at 8-0, I was like, I won everything regardless, technically. I was like, yeah, there's the play map, but I'm like, I pretty much did, you know, like, no matter what happens, you feel good. So, it's you don't slow down, but, like, in your head, you know, it's not like you're playing for top 32 for, like, big prizing differences, and when you lose on those, it feels terrible, low-key. They're in a great position. They've done it all. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, your nerves have got to be at the minimum. Like, last round, the nerves were probably really high, but this round, like, your nerves are so much less because you're really just, you're playing to find out who's better. And you have unlimited time, so you can take as much time as you want to think, which is huge, because you can think through all of your plays. It doesn't matter.
One of them is actually a bit better at the mirror, and I do think in a mirror like this, there are so many decisions being made all the time. What to discard with your leader skill, what to counter away, what characters to take off the board with things like Rob Lucci, when to use Rob
Vampirico, that's me. They must be relieved. Yeah, absolutely insane. Absolutely. It is unfortunate that Team Italy both lost. Honestly, I think they just need more time.
But it's going to be those little moments and those little decisions all the way throughout these games that is going to make the difference.
Absolutely. It's also worth mentioning at this point that the 2 players that did lose in their top 4 matchup, they will be playing in a 3rd place playoff. I can confirm that that is timed, so that will follow the same best of 3 rules as we've been following throughout the entire top cut. 1 hour and then overtime rules of 10 minutes or 3 turns, whichever finishes first, and of course in the best of 3 matchup. So they will still play, they will still get their chance, and depending on how this game goes, we might be able to tell you who has managed to secure that victory as well before we...
Oh, that's right. They also have the third player playoff.
Final from the head judge.
Yeah,
to see who gets the Kaido. It's 2 teammates, though, I'm pretty sure. Mirko and Antonio. I'm pretty sure they're both teammates. So that's also kind of rough, but it's great at the same time because no matter what, your brother wins. Did EU have any performances, by the way? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. EU did not have anything else other than... Yeah, I mean, I think... Did they have side events? I think they had side events. But, like, those filled up, like, instantly. They only had 6.
Hurting Sakazuki, and in fact, you know, we even saw that Sanji card that was spoiled earlier could even end up being a new trick for Sakazuki, letting you play something like a Borsalino for free or something along those lines, maybe even giving rise to a new build of Sakazuki.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not the only new trick and new surprise that we've had across the course of this weekend. Of course, earlier on today with Mina and Taj, they revealed to us the first English translation and reveal of the OP06 Roronoa Zoro secret rare.
I like how they do those, but we've already seen it, so like it's so unimpactful. I appreciate that they tried to do it.
Let's get it up onto the screen and onto the display for all of you wonderful people.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen this card before, ever. Oh my goodness. It does look really good though. Like, this is the first time seeing it in English, so there is that. There is that.
All over the card, and Roronoa Zoro is very cool, and I like this card because, I mean, you know, I've made no secret.
North America also has more money because they have the Dragon Ball money, they have the Union Arena money, they have Digimon money. All of them are in the same place. I'm glad they do it. It gives us the same feeling as Japan, but we all pay attention to Japan. So it's and there are people who don't know. So there, I guess it does have impact. But for anyone who's like playing this to the competitive level, they've seen this. Wow, interesting. I thought that they had like Sabo and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Like the Sabo from the sealed battle.
Spirit of the character itself, in sort of standing of the character. I'm so
This card's dope though.
To get a card that has been able to emulate that three-sword style perfectly there. It's just this card, it looks menacing just in terms of the artwork to look at, and it looks menacing from a gameplay standpoint as well. This is going to be really, really interesting to see how green decks are going to be able to try and incorporate this card as we have it.
3 swords, 3 attacks. That makes perfect sense to me. I talk to my kids about Roronoa Zoro because I have a Roronoa shirt I wear far too often. And now I'm to my kids, I'm like, and how does he fight with 3 swords? And they're like, in his mouth! My kids are being very well trained.
Oh, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I love that.
Yeah, OP06 already a set I'm looking forward to. We've seen the 2 secret rounds.
Honestly, I think it's for a reason.
So we're going to see some more cards, hopefully, in the not too distant future as we get closer to the release.
That's a good question.
And there's plenty more fun to come. And look, this tournament is fun.
I mean, it's technically not a participation chopper. But like, there's rarely ever more than like 64 teams. But they're supposed to be able to support like 200
absolutely
or 500 teams. There's just never that many 3-people teams.
You can hear some of the applause and some of the cheers as the players make their way into the feature match area for the final time this weekend. They've had their debrief, they've had their instructions. Now all that's left to do is shuffle up and get underway.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to see who is the ultimate Sakazuki player. We're going to see a lot of what we saw in the last game. And the other Sakazuki, I think it's only the third one we've had on stream this weekend, correct?
Off the top of my memory, yes.
I know we had one yesterday during Swiss, and then we've obviously had 2 today in the Top Cut, 1 in Top 4 and 1 in the final. We could have shown more Sakazuki mirrors, but it's one of those matchups where, you know, save it for the end.
Savor it. Save the best till last, and we certainly have done in terms of the deck representation and proportion to its results. All top 4 decks are Sakazuki decks, piloted by the best as well, and we are going to have Hervoye and Fabian taking the mantle in the feature match area.
So here's a question then. Next weekend we've got the North American Championships, we have the Latin American Championships, we have the Oceania Championships. This is the only show in town this weekend. We got the other 3 all coming up next weekend. Players who are watching this tournament, and you know whether they're watching the stream or whether they're following the results, however they're doing so, players from all 3 of those regions are going to be watching this event in some way or other. And they're going to go, oh, Sakazuki's really good. Like, potentially play Sakazuki if you want to win good. So, how many players, and I don't have an answer to this question, but I want to know how many players are going to go, better play Sakazuki, and just literally spend from now until Friday testing the mirror, and how many players are going to go, I think I've got a deck to beat Sakazuki, and just test it and test it and test it and try and tweak it and make little changes to try and make sure they are best protected against Sakazuki. We have seen it lose this weekend. We know it can lose to yellow. We know that it can lose to purple Luffy. We know that it can lose to Nami. How are these players in the other regions going to react having seen what's gone on this weekend in Europe?
Yeah, and we see it time and time again with any kind of tournament, but I think the big thing to take an eye on, to keep note, is that kind of region-specific representation and results. The only North American event that has happened in OP05 has been Los Angeles Regionals, and that final was a mirror match, but it was an NL mirror match. So there is certainly a horses for courses, as you will. There are certain decks that are going to be more represented and perform better in certain regions. And look, don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I definitely think that this weekend is going to result in a ripple effect for the other events. I think we are going to see a greater representation across the other regions of Sakazuki. The question is, though, is that how well those regions are able to handle Sakazuki. How easily is it going to be able to counter? Are there players in the Latin America region, in the North American region, that look at the Sakazuki deck, look at some of the differences between some of the builds that have been brought here this weekend and go, oh, you know what? I know how to overcome that, and do so as well. It's going to be really, really interesting to watch that ripple effect and watch the fallout as it unfolds next weekend. But we can only wait, and we can only see what is going to be in store for us as well.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Your old pal Wassy heading into one of those tournaments next weekend.
Who is?
Matchup sorted, would ya? Because you are not winning. I'm not saying Sakazuki is going to win next weekend. I am saying you are not going to win next weekend unless you are extremely good, specifically at this Sakazuki matchup. Because whether it wins or not, you know it is the deck to take seriously. There are other decks to test against, of course, but know your Sakazuki matchup. It is going to be the key for a lot of players. Looks like we are ready to go now. We have got decks shuffled, we've got leaders out, we've got alternate art leaders on both sides, and we are getting ready here. We've got Hervoye on the left, we've got Fabian on the right, we've got Sakazuki on the left, Sakazuki on the right, and we are getting ready for this grand finals. It might say 60 minutes at the top, but we are...
Here we go.
Check, so I hope you're not lying to me.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. Hervoye, I follow him on Twitter.
Our opening hands and see what we can find.
I had to look back, though. I was like, the name sounded familiar.
Tashigi, I believe, was one of the cards as well, and he's happy.
Someone get him on the channel.
Fabian on the other side was not happy.
I am inevitable.
Of a Rob Lucci in there, but
I wonder, I think going first here really matter, or going second, winning the dice roll is going to be super. His hand was not good.
Voye's hand as well. It was a brand new, so whether he's going first or second in this first game,
looks like we got Rebecca, brand new Hina.
Which is going to be very, very important.
Yeah,
Hound Blaze, or is that Eruption?
If you go second, turn one, you got 2 Don, you're on that brand new coming out there, going and searching one of your Navy cards. That is absolutely your goal. It is the best way to go, and you can go and get all of your other Navy cards nice and early, whatever they might be, whatever your strategy might be. But we're going to see a lot of what we've seen in the previous game. We're going to see these blockers coming down at opportune moments. We're going to see Rob Lucci trying to get double KO.
Good, Castleford, good.
We're going to see Borsellino trying to get rid of some of the bigger characters. Fabian, I think that was a note about the white noise we have to put in the headset. But I'm a very loud person. They will hear me.
It's good to see the players still having a little bit of fun in the feature match area as well, despite the stakes that are on the line, despite everything that there is to play for. We see the fist bump. We are underway in the European Championship Grand Final of the One Piece card game.
Yeah, and it looks like where we're starting off with.
First turn for
Boom Sakalaka is pretty good. If you ramp perfectly and you continually just spam out big drop, it's pretty good. But like if you don't spam out big drop after big drop, because they can't, after X point, they just can't remove.
So we're overway and over to Fabian for his first turn. He does have a brand new in hand, so I wonder if he will use.
We do love Cat.
First, flipping over that alt-art leader to see the regular art, and then there is the brand new to follow up as well.
We've got Great Eruption, we've got Great Eruption.
And we've got
Brand.
Which is not
so I wonder if he's going to take.
Guess we'll get a Great Eruption. Part of me really wanted our third card to just be Great Eruption.
Well. I was waiting for it. I thought it was going to be absolutely brilliant. But here comes the first attack.
Taking
and the
it.
first life taken as well. And there is Hervoye's brand new as well. A little bit of a different search, however, for Hervoye.
Yeah,
That's
we've
really
got
strong.
Borsalino
Yeah.
and Hina, a lot of good targets there.
The
Goes
koozie
for that
coos.
Borsalino, which we've seen is so good at taking those characters off of the board. And it looks like we're discarding a Mancherry there to go and search out another brand new.
Yeah, that's not a bad exchange there if you're Hervoye just getting rid of that card that's not maybe going to make that much of an impact in this matchup, or at least in these early stages of this game. Of course, Mancherry revolves around having a very, very congested discard pile, and in these early stages, you just don't have that. So a wise decision, I think, from Hervoye to discard that one early, and he's been rewarded for it justly.
Yeah, we got a cheeky swing from the leader into Hervoye.
5, and he
right there,
takes
and
it.
does get through.
Value.
Borsalino, blocker hits the board, and we are back over to Hervoye there. Both players knotted up on free life, but we know how this goes.
The
in this
4/6
one.
really matters
You
because you
down
get a
to
free
two life
block if
pretty
they want to
quick.
play
Both
into
players
curve
are
where they
gonna
need to use
have
all their
take one
Dawn.
of their life in the early game, get a couple of extra cards, and then we're going to start seeing the game really tighten up.
Absolutely. So we're at to 5 Dawn now from Hervoye. Couple of options in hand, of course. Does have that brand new.
Oh, he does have the... If he has a Great Eruption, then hit him with that
Believe that there might be a blue Borsalino.
cycle. Let's see what he gets.
Of the brand new to leader skill, that's picked up a Hina.
Plays the
Will play
Hina.
down
Is he going to
another
just
Hina.
minus and then do the Hound Blaze? Yeah, and go
There
5,
we
6.
go. Hina brings down Borsalino to an appropriate cost, and then we see the Hound Blaze putting Borsalino on the bottom of the deck.
Hound Blaze
And
brand new
all
is
of a
just
sudden, and like
crazy.
we've seen so many times, you play one good card, and then your
Boom.
opponent just gets rid of it
6.
straight away. We did see a counter with Tashigi, though.
Yeah,
so
so he
at
just
least
gave
we
up the
didn't see
2K
any
already.
attack
Usually
goes
Sokka will do the 2K just because their
Brand new
1Ks do
Ice
better.
Age
Ooh.
Off of the trigger. That will
Ooh.
get rid of the Hina. That's a really, really nice there for Fabian. Of course, it's KOing a 3-cost or less. Hina is just in that range. And
Thought he was
also
playing red there for a sec.
Potential attacker for next turn for Hervoye. Straight back into the trash.
Yeah, Sakazuki doing Sakazuki things. Characters hit the board, characters leave the board. We got so many.
Now you
ways
can
of
just go
KOing
3 and the 3 on
characters,
the brand
putting
new
them
and
to
clear
the
that
bottom
if you
of their
want
deck,
to.
And it really does turn into a bit of a war of attrition here.
Looks like
It
he's
is trying
got
to keep the
Kuz
characters
on.
board, and
We
if
know
your
he has a
opponent
Great Eruption, both
just
low
takes a
value. He
turn
does
or
have
two
the
off, that's when you
Hina
can
if he wants to
really come in
cast it.
packs.
Absolutely. So we've now passed over to
Both look like they
Fabian,
have
who's currently
juicy
trailing
hands.
in the life race, 3-2.
Looks
in
like a
favour
Sabo.
of Hervoye, who has navigated the Sakazuki mirror on stream successfully. in
Ah,
the
there's
top
the
4.
3-drop
There
Hina
goes
into
the
another
Sakazuki
3-drop
leader
Hina.
getting
That's
rid of a
rough.
Hina, bringing back a Hina. So definitely the cards looking to try and give him some extra advantage at the moment.
Yeah, we do see a brand new there, just swinging into a brand new and taking it out. You don't need any extra Dawn or anything. It's weak. It's too weak to swing into the life, but it's fine swinging into that. And the awesome Kazan alternate art there. We like Kazan. Kazan is good, and we see a cheeky swing with the Sakazuki leader. And we've got 2 life remaining each. And this is where the game is going to start tightening up considerably.
Yeah, I'm happy with the 2 Don being put underneath Sakazuki leader there as well to go into the swing. Forces out 3,000 powers worth of counter from hand if Hervoye wants to protect that life race. But also, you're not playing any counters in these Sakazuki decks. Fabian is playing the 2 Ice Age, the 4 Great Eruption, and the 4 Hound Blaze in terms of events. So there's not really any defense coming in that kind of form. Although speaking of defense, I've heard the best form of defense is attack, and Hervoye is going on that with bottom decking with Borsalino.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty strong. If he doesn't have, oh, he's got 3 great, he's got 2 Great Eruptions. He could go leader swing, Great Eruption, bottom deck.
Really a 4 cost here. That's kind of a lie. What
You
it
pretty
actually
much want to
is
save the
an
bottom deck for like
anything cost.
Rebecca
Build it
or
all these
Lucci
other
though, if possible, because
cards
then they
that have
can't
access.
cycle them if they don't have one in there.
Using, it looks like, Sakazuki's leader effect, or potentially deciding to here from Fabian. He's got Sabo, Hina, double Great Eruption, Hound Blaze I think is in the hand, as well as the second copy of Ice Age. That is the last copy that Fabian has as well in his deck list.
Utrecht, it's in
So
Utrecht.
we'll see what Fabian is going to want to try.
If you ask me what country
and
that's
do
in, I
to
don't know, but
try
I
and
think it's
follow up and
Germany.
try and deal with that Borsalino, as we've seen throughout these.
Are they doing a worldwide release where they have simul releases now?
After the other, dealing with each other's attacking threats as soon as they are played down. I think it might
See,
be
like, don't. That's what, yeah.
in this situation for Fabian, to maybe just play a little bit defensive.
Yeah.
Defensive is the way to go.
I knew I was wrong. That's why I said don't ask me.
But you need to make sure you got enough blockers on the board and enough counter in your hand.
Crazy. I took regional geography and passed really well, but afterwards I had no idea where anything was.
One of the things we've seen from players in the past is you put
Interesting. I wonder how that works out, because you have to like either rush a release or you have to pause the game somewhere. Because like someone has to take a sacrifice, you either release it and then becomes like, I think it's better for supply too, because you're printing 2 sets of cards. This is game 1. We're in game 1.
Take it off the board.
Looks like he's going for the removal. Gonna drop it down to a 4. Oh, yeah, it goes 5, 4. He's gonna Lino it. Yeah.
The Sakazuki attack brings it down to 4 as well. That brings the counter. So now all of a sudden we're getting into
a Hina, interesting. And the Lucci, okay.
That's even better. We don't need to worry about it.
And he gets 2 bodies, so now he's gotta essentially Lucci back.
Very nice. We get rid of it. We KO with the Lucci. And of course, not for nothing, but both Hina and Lucci are, they're not phenomenal attackers, but they are perfectly competent attackers. And that means that they are going to be able to.
Looks like he has no Lucci. No removal. 2 Rebekahs. Oh no, those are Lucci's. I was mistaking those for. So he could double just Eruption, then drop the Luch.
The characters just fall down turn after turn. But at some point, you are going to have a turn. If you're in the lead, you are going to find a turn where your opponent runs out of steam, and that's when you need to start.
Oh, does he Rebekah here?
Really going for
minus the Hina. Does he play? Does he have a Hina in the trash? Does he play Rebekah and get back a card and then Lucci? Because he's at 9. So he could. He could Rebekah 5, reduce Lucci. Yeah.
Will certainly help by starting that off. Counted away with
because then you get the yep. He's gonna do it. Question is, does he add back a Hina or does he add back a counter and then?
We've seen this before, Ben.
Yeah, he's gonna add back a counter, then play it from the hand.
Okay. Maybe not quite. There's a Hina in hand.
Right, there we go.
Boom, minus. They're both 1s. Now you drop the Luch. Yep. Boom.
So you've got Hina, Rob Lucci in hand already. That gives you the opportunity to go and use Rebekah.
So he's been 2 Borsalinos in. Most people are playing 3. He might have 1 left.
So once again, we are just seeing a complete flip-flopping of board state. We saw Fabian get rid of Hervoye's board while building up a decent board of their own. And then we go to the next turn, and Hervoye takes out Fabian's board while building up a decent board of his own. 2 decent attackers and a blocker. And then we're going to go back to Fabian, and no prizes for guessing what Fabian is going to be trying to do here.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, he wants to find out how many cards are in Hervoye's hand. It looks like 6 are there for Hervoye, and it looks like it's the same count, actually, for Fabian as well. Needs to deal with these worries on board. Is going to first Sakazuki effect away the Ice Age. That brings a blocker Borsalino. That's certainly not a bad option to have here if you want to just get back an extra turn for your board state as well. There's also a Rebekah. So could this be the opportunity to go straight back at Hervoye with the same combo that we've been seeing throughout this weekend?
I mean, maybe, frankly. It could be something.
Rebekah, Hina, Lucci.
In that regard. It depends if you've got the combo. You need 2 of the pieces. You need Rebekah and 1 of the pieces in your hand. Rebekah will get to the other piece, and then you can start going like that. So one of the things about it is, and this could end up being one of the margins in this matchup, you still need to have those cards. It's all well and good saying, well, my opponent is in range of this combo, but you still got to get all the parts of it. But we do have Rebekah. Hina comes back. Hina gets played. Rob Lucci comes down to a 0 cost there. Or 1 cost, and then we got actually Hound Blaze going away.
Ooh, bottom decking the Lucci prevents the recycle. Again, big. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, that's still not bad. You're still having to face down some serious threats on the protection, and you're also getting rid of at least 1 of those threats. Now we're seeing that Sakazuki that's been boosted up in power, 8,000 into life There is still that Rebecca blocker on board.
And right now,
not many
right now,
cards
it's
in
changed
her.
a minute, but right now, perfect symmetry. They both had a Hina, they both had a Rebecca, they both had 2 life, they both got the same leader. But now it's been
Hervoye, that's right, yeah. Hervoye's hand, not much cards.
Comes out onto the field.
He's got that one of, I'm pretty sure he plays one of the Bart.
I don't think he had any real other option though there, Hervoye, to really...
No Mihawks, I ain't seen Mihawks.
The hand looks, it's full, there's plenty of cards in there, there's brand new. I think there's another blocker Rebecca, a great eruption, but I'm not quite sure if all the combo pieces, there's a Lucci as well. So all we need to do is find one more Hina of some kind of form. We're going to go digging first and foremost for brand new, look at the top 3 and find a navy card.
It's not perfect, but you do get a Hound Blazer. That is a card we've already seen a couple of times this matchup. Very good for bumping a 2-cost back to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So that is one that's going to come in handy, I'm fairly sure, in the not too distant future. We do see what I like to refer to as a cheeky leader swing here. Is it going to go through? No.
No, not when you've got 6,000 power blocker there. Happy to just go and stand in the way.
Is he gonna dumps the Bart? Koozy Coos.
Getting rid of that Bartolomeo.
And then boom.
And now here we go, everybody. Get ready to say it with me. We're going Rebecca.
Hina.
Reduce some costs. There's 4 Don left up and available. I wonder what's coming next.
Oh my word, it's
Lucci from the top ropes.
It's exactly what we were expecting, and the targets, of course, are the ones we saw coming. It does leave the blocker Borsellino on the field for Fabian, but we actually see a swing with Hina here as well, and the life.
It's literally just take turns. Who can Rebecca? Who can Robert Hina Lucci more?
Jumping into the lead,
especially at this level, like it really comes down to, I think a big portion of this game is luck at this high level of gameplay.
It could be, or we could just see
Man,
Fabian just, you know.
Okay, who's he gonna minus?
Straight away afterwards.
Who's on? Or Robert?
Did manage to take an extra life, which at this point in the game is a fairly difficult thing to do. So Great Eruption coming down here is going to give a -2 cost to something. We're going to bring something down into a range of something else. It's a Hina.
Yeah, I don't mind the targeting of the Hina there. I think in my situation personally, I would have probably put it on the Rebecca just to make sure that we're getting the blocker out of the way, freeing up a potential a chance to swing into one of the Hinas and get rid of it that way. I don't think there's too many cards in Hervoye's hand at the moment. There you go. It's actually there's only 4. So I think that could have been a line of play here. We'll see how it pans out throughout the rest of Fabian's turn, but I think that potentially would have been the route that I would have gone.
Well, we do see a swing with Sakazuki here.
I'm just loading in the gain levels.
By 1 by virtue of that leader skill, and then attack into the life. Oh,
we're going into one of the Hinas.
We are going into one of the Hinas here, so we get the cost reduction, and we get the attack there as well.
Yeah. 100% castle.
Cards off the board,
and if you see the same amount, it's going to come down to skill.
It's built up,
but like at this higher level, it really just comes down to it. I mean, you know, Hervoye has so few cards. Turning the blocker sideways just because it matters, yeah. Playing another one, probably dropping the Sabo? No, dropping a Lucci. Oh, boom, that makes sense.
Now I see the thought process of the line of play.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We get rid of a couple of characters, and then there's the attack as well. So now all of a sudden,
and he's going to play another one. That makes sense.
Vicious swings back and forth, where the boards are just built.
Borsellino definitely goes sideways. He's a swinger. Oh, Hound Blaze.
Actually, Avoy is playing pretty fast
maybe.
Here. We've got we got
that's interesting. I mean, you can take your time, but he is playing fast.
The Borsellino that was reduced
really
by
strong.
The Great Eruption. Looks like the power is going to go onto Rob Lucci as
can
well.
swing at the other Lino now to clear him.
And with that blocker that was rested and that
is he just going to go for game here?
To get rid of the blocker Rebecca, or tease that out at the very least.
Because he's still got a brand to swing with. So that's 9, and if not, he's got a lot going at the face. He has to counter out of this, or it might be just over.
He's certainly in danger.
Yeah, this is not ideal. It's a 9K.
Oh, there it is. He's going to go all in. Does he have another Hound Blaze? Boom, 9. Yeah. Hervoye bringing it home in game 1. 15-minute game. Absolutely insane.
And that was very well done. Double Hound Blaze on the final turn, building up a character and then building up a leader and just getting yourself out of counter range with no blocker on the board. There was nothing that could be done.
Absolutely, and we've been seeing that amongst these sort of top 8, top 4 matchups throughout this weekend and throughout this evening. That Hound Blaze just being played down, it doesn't necessarily need to result in the end of the turn, and by the end of the turn, having the character whose cost was reduced going to the bottom of the deck or the trash. That doesn't matter. What matters is getting that extra 1,000 powers worth of value out of the 2 Don. We saw it there to perfection on both the Lucci and the leader.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I was like, I saw he had 1 life. I was like, this just might be it.
Fabian had a lot of counter in hand, but they were completely obsolete.
Yeah, you get to a point where you get so much.
Because I was like, if not, I mean, he gets to go 7 brand, and then 7 again, which probably got it. Like, it was, or even higher, like, yeah.
Game after game after game all weekend here. Find a situation where your opponent has no blockers, and then
Hound Blaze, heck of a card.
Bigger smashing attacks you possibly can. And, you know, attacking with a Borsellino, leaving created that opportunity for 2 attacks to go for
Hervoye got it.
Took it. And then we end up going into game 2. We're still quite a way.
It is slightly heartbreaking, but it was not unexpected. It is the best deck in the format.
Into the final. So let's not pretend like Hervoye is there yet. They are absolutely not there yet. But we're not a million miles away.
And one thing to point into perspective and to think about, actually, that was really quick.
That was way quicker.
That was really quick.
That was a 15-minute game 1 there at the start of this grand final. That was not the kind of thing that we've typically been seeing from Sakazuki throughout this weekend. Certainly not something that we expected to see. We expected to still be going in game 1 within about 45 minutes with the way that...
We all hate Nami, but we're all rooting. It's so funny. We all root for the Nami.
really, really strong there from Hervoye. And look,
I think it's especially because nobody thinks Sokka deserves it. Like...
No, but that's the swings. That's the thing that can win you the final, and that's the thing that can lose you the final. And the thing is, it's hard to know what the right choice is when you make those plays. You are basically you're making your best guess, you've worked it all out, you've played this game a million times before, and you are thinking, this is my best route to victory. And the thing is, even where it doesn't work, there's still absolutely every chance that 2 turns later you were going to lose a different way anyway.
Exactly, Grimtindo. All right, here we go.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. While we're setting up for game 2, I do just want to point out, Fabian having the alternate art leader, and then flipping it when the skill is used to the regular leader to keep track of it. I mean, as someone who's watching this game and trying to cast it, oh, that's beautiful.
It's really, really smart. We see so many different players using so many...
No, I don't think we see a ban list ever again, truthfully. Truthfully, I don't think we'll. I think we'll see set rotations before we see a ban list. But I don't see it happening, truthfully. It's too strong, but like the answer is just more power creep.
But this is just a perfect mixture of that real good visual reminder and a show off as well of not just the alt art, but the original art as well.
Yeah, very nice indeed. Looks like we are getting ready for game 2 here. And could we have another like 15-minute game? Are we going to be waiting for the third place playoff to give out some trophies at the end of this?
It's possible. It could be possible with the way that game 1 panned out. But look, I hate to burst bubbles and I hate to be the pessimist in this situation out of the 2 of us, Ross. But I don't think that we are going to. I think Fabian is going to put his real game face on, put his brave face on, just calm himself and go through the lines of play. He made sure that he kept the hand that he was drawn initially.
Got to be careful not to be greedy. Or do you just be greedy?
See the fist bump there, and we are underway in game 2.
Man Sherry.
Yeah, we see a Man Sherry discarded to use a leader skill. We see a Dom put out, a card drawn, and straight over. First couple turns are often extremely quick. We got a couple of Don being played out. That little
it's arguable he's still the best deck next format, but Moria's easier to play.
But not finding the brand new, not there.
It's anybody's game. I mean, these are 2 top caliber players. Anyone can bring it. I would love to see. I would love to. It would hurt to see a 2-0 sweep. Ooh. I think you grabbed Gate Eruption. You got the Hina in the trash, like ready to go. But he has one. No, he
because
doesn't have one.
it's got
Maybe
an
he
80
just grabbed the
card.
Great Eruption.
So, yeah, very sharp suit.
No Becky,
very sharp
though.
Bird suit. Love that bird. But
Yamato's going to be like a
unfortunately,
$200 alt-art leader.
it is a card in the trash we need to keep
Ooh,
track
into
of,
that
and it is
Saber.
a card we see being very important in this and every other matchup.
So now passing over to Fabian with 4 Don available. Has a Lucci, it looks like, in hand there. We get a first swing with leader. That is going to be taken and go through. Do we just potentially go play Lucci to KO the brand new? Do we Hound Blaze it potentially? If we're going to Hound Blaze it, then maybe it felt a little bit better to do that before the swing, get the power onto the leader Sakazuki to really make sure. We're not going to do any of that, in fact, Ross. We're just going to play Kuzan.
Yeah, Kuzan comes down very nicely here. And it's a decent body on the board, which is going to be able to do some stuff in the future.
Yeah, you have to remove the Kuzan. Kuzan provides so much value if he sticks. The problem is in the mirror, he doesn't stick.
Opens up so many lines of play with stuff like Rob Lucci,
Taking that Great
stuff
Eruption,
like
they can just
Borsellino,
Yep,
stuff
Hound
like
Blaze it.
Hound Blaze, and so on and so on.
And it certainly could prove into this matchup and into Hervoye's build of
Ditching that
Sakazuki
other one.
particularly as well, because remember, he plays those 2 10-cost Kaido. Fabian electing not to include those in his list, but if those 4 attacks and 4 costs are going to be left unchecked, they're not though.
Yeah, there's no way it stays on the board.
No.
Like, we've seen
6,
seen it here,
7.
man. There's no way that
Gotta
Kuzan was
counter this
ever
if you
staying
can.
on that board.
Taking
So we
it.
just
Now
see
he's
the
even
quick
more
cost
incentivized to go
Hound
7.
Blaze, and then,
Yeah.
of course, it is
Put
already
that
gone.
pressure at the face.
And, yeah, then we see Fabian
Going down the
losing
1.
2 life here.
Very dangerous for
Hervoye
Fabian.
is getting quite close to winning already. Are we going to have, like... I mean, look, we're in an untimed final in a Sakazuki mirror. This thing could have ruined our tea plans because all the food places are closed by the time we're done.
That
Could
is
we
that
see,
is
like, one of
not.
the fastest stream games we've seen all weekend?
This is a really, really blazing... It's a combination of a blazing start from Hervoye.
I've seen Sakazuki stay alive forever at 1 life, though. Specifically against me. Like, being at 1, I don't like that one bit.
Control at this stage. There's no characters that we need.
Because you pretty much need to play a blocker and you need to remove that Brand. And he's still at 3 life.
We're down to 1 life.
Tons
We
of
need to
cards in
start
hand,
worrying
but
about that brand new that's on the board, and with 6 Don available, there's certainly a couple of different options that we could see going into it. I'd like to see, I think, Hound Blaze into blocker Borsellino, I think, to be able to get rid of that brand new, have the power onto Sakazuki leader, swing with that, and then play down the blocker.
that's the downfall of Saka, too. Never against me will they have no counter, but like against every other person they play, they'll have like no counter in hand, and it'll be over before you know it.
Some blockers on the board for peace of mind, because I'm worried that my opponent's just going to attack a couple times and win the game. But you're down a couple of life. You need to start taking some offensive pressure here. Now we do see the Borsellino being attacked by the Sakazuki. Then we see the Branu, sorry. Then we see the Borsellino coming in as a blocker. So you've taken out a character, you pop the blocker down. You've not taken any more life. That is something that needs to be done in the next couple of turns to keep up here.
Yeah, so we've gone through the line of play that was identified, but just not quite the method that I thought that we needed to go on. And let's be clear, Fabian had the Hound Blaze. He's got Hound Blaze in hand, it looks like. So it could have been, there could have been the option there to get rid of it that way. But
Left 2 Don
just to
up.
attack into
That's
it, and
unique.
there is the punishment as well. It's going to be 7 cost Borsellino to spin the blocker away. And now we do have
Now he has to answer that Lino. He does have the Ice Age, unless he just... Did he just pitch the Ice Age? Because he did just have the Ice Age.
There aren't many attacks, just a leader this term, but you got leader and Borsellino, so Fabian's got the goal in mind here. Try and put some offensive pressure on, try and get that Borsellino off the board. The good news is there's no blocker on Hervoye's side of the board as it stands at the moment.
Dumping that Ice
So you
Age
can
might have
start
been
hopefully
bad.
firing off at least an attack with the leader, and either getting some
Because if
life
you don't
takers
play a
or
blocker, your
forcing out
opponent
some
just
of those
attempts to
counters
game
and
you.
whittle down the resources
So you have to play a blocker, and you have to
First thing we're gonna
remove
see is the activation
the Lino.
of leader ability. He gets rid of a Lucci, and maybe now actually this is the situation where Fabian is thinking, I'm glad that I kept a hold of that Hound Blaze. We see double Hound Blaze, double Hina in hand.
5 at lead.
We're first gonna
Interesting.
start off with an attack with leader. Like you
Oh,
said,
is he going to
trying
Hina
take out
Lucci
one of
it?
those
Or Rebecca Hina
You
Lucci
see
it?
from the Bartolomeo blocker.
Yeah,
There's a
Rebecca
2K
Hina Lucci.
counter. Now we're going to go into Rebecca. That
Minus.
returns Hina. -4 cost. And it is
Lucci.
in Lucci range.
So much Lucci all the time. We cannot stop Lucciing.
But it was
And he got that
necessary.
blocker
It
he
was
needed, so
necessary.
great
In
spot.
fact, he's actually killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. He's protecting himself by bringing along a blocker. He's gotten rid of that imminent threat of the 7-cost Borsellino through Lucci. And he's also got himself a couple of attackers just away aside from the leader for next turn as well. That was really, really strong from Fabian that turn.
Yeah, that was near enough the perfect turn. And at every turn, you're basically looking for 3 things most of the time. There are, of course, exceptions. You're looking to wreck your opponent's
got
board,
6
take all of their
cards.
counters away. You're looking to set up some kind of
The
effective
fact your
threat,
opponent has
and a
more
lot of the time
cards
you're
than
looking
you
to set up a block
probably,
to give you that
and
little
they have
bit
more
of
life
safety.
is never
Fabian
a
managed
good
to do
feeling.
all 3 of those things in that
Getting
last
out
turn.
resourced.
So might be behind by 2 life, and I mean is behind by 2 life, but at least putting himself in a decent position here to at least carry on this game. Havoye got off to a fast start in this game, but now facing down a board which is way better than his. But how many times have we seen this? Your opponent's got loads, you've got nothing. A couple of cards later, it's literally just reversed. Like, for instance, getting rid of the Rebecca.
Yeah, conscious choice there from Fabian to use the Rebecca.
Oh,
blocker.
yeah, so
Now
I wish
we're
he
gonna
can't
see a
bottom deck it.
Kuzan on the follow-up, draws 1 card. Then
Drops
we're
the
gonna go into
Sabo.
Sabo, drawing more cards as well. And there is a little bit of defense for Hervoye, not able to have any kind of removal effect or deal with the Lucci.
Hervoye with a
Hinas
ton of
that are on
counter,
board.
too.
So looks like that they are
The
gonna be going
Shigi?
free swinging on,
Wow,
Fabian's turn.
keeping the Suru, I guess that makes
magical
sense in
turn
terms
where
of
you
2Ks.
actually attack with something you played the previous turn, which does not happen as much as you might think it would when you're playing against our old pal Sakazuki.
If he can bottom
So,
deck the
we do go
Kuzan,
back over to
he could put a
Fabian
ton
now.
of damage
Looks like
on
we've got a
board and
full
really
10
pressure.
Dawn available to play with.
Oh, he's got
2
triple
potential
Hound
attacks
Blaze.
on
He could
board
Hound
in
Blaze
addition to
both.
the leader,
What's
and
he
1
got?
blocker facing you down on the other side of the board.
We've also got 3 Hound Blaze.
Double
in hand
Hina. I think you
at the
cycle a
moment.
Hina
We're
here,
gonna
yep.
see, the first Sakazuki
Draw.
leader activation. We're gonna
Kuzan, not much more help.
It's a Kuzan drawn off of the Hina. So I wonder if we've got another Hina that's there in hand. That will allow
Can
the
put a
cost
ton of damage
of
out there
one
with
of the
those Hound
characters on
Blazes,
board
though.
by 4. Do we just go ahead, target the Sabo with it, then Hound Blaze? And
He's got a
spin that
Rebecca,
away? Of course, all the characters at
so
the
he can
moment
add back,
on
yeah,
Hervoye's
go
side of the
Rebecca,
field
add
are
back, bottom
protected
deck
by
the
KO
Sabo.
effects. Because of Sabo's activation,
Minus
here
Sabo,
comes
bottom
the
deck the
Hina
Sabo.
to
Give
reduce
it
the
to
cost
probably
down off of
Lucci.
the Rebecca search by 4. Are we going to use one of those 3 Hound Blazes that are in Fabian's hand?
I mean, we have to. Why else would you reduce the cost down to, 2 or
Because he can
below
put him, he
when
could
you
possibly
have-
put
there's not gonna be a Rob Lucci coming
Hervoye
down
at
there,
0.
but with a
He's
Sabo
got a lot of
position,
counter, so
and Hound
unlikely, but he
Blaze
could
is
put him
most
at 1 as
efficient
well.
card to take
And
on
just
the board.
re-put that
You
pressure
have to do
back.
that, but, I mean, you've just used Hina to reduce the cost.
Absolutely, and if there's a greater action in hand here as well, he could actually deal with both threats on the board if Fabian sequences and times this right. There is the first Hound Blaze that will get rid of the Sabo. It's going to put the power just onto leader Sakazuki, and now if there is greater action in hand, we can go Sakazuki leader swing, -1 cost from Kuzan, greater action, -2 cost, draw 1, and then
If he has greater
Hound
option,
Blaze
that'd be
it
huge.
away.
Does he go
Here
in?
comes Hina.
Is that 5 or 8?
It's everything you're looking to do.
It's just
here.
5.
This is just exactly how Sakazuki goes. We are seeing these massive swings, turn after turn, where one player goes, hang on a second, you've got a much larger board than me, how about I get rid of it all? And, Fabian's doing exactly what he did last turn. He's finishing off Hervoye's board,
Right.
and he's getting attacking threats down, and he's getting a blocker down. But
Interesting.
unfortunately, we see the Rob Lucci attack, but it is countered here. So you do get the
4 cards
attack,
in hand.
and Hervoye's got 4
Ooh, and
cards
he's
in
got
hand
Rebecca,
now.
Lucci,
That hand is
Mansherry.
starting to be whittled down quite
That's
nicely.
your whole
Yeah, I
combo.
think this Sakazuki leader attack is definitely going to go through. There it is,
Yeah,
no arguments
taking it.
about that. will bring his hand just
And he
slightly
plays
back
the
up, and then we'll
Kuzan.
play the Kuzan to
Interesting.
draw an extra card.
If he can
Now,
remove
once again,
the
attention is put back
Rebecca,
onto Hervoye,
if he has
well, he is
removal,
gonna be able to
it could
deal
just be
with
over
his
right
board
here.
state.
And there's quite a lot of cost on the board. The Kazan there's a 4 cost. Hina's a 3 cost. Rob Lucci's a 4 cost. Rebecca's a 4 cost.
He's got 10-drop Kaido. He could 10-drop Kaido. Refresh his resources.
But when you add them all up, that is a lot of cost to try and get rid of. That is 5 different characters, and you know you could.
Because then you
do it.
go,
It's
you're at
absolutely doable.
5
We won't see it
now.
being
You go
done,
to
but
8.
It's going to require a lot more resources than we often see.
Or he's
in
at
this
6.
situation.
And with
You
7
go to
cards
9
hand
cards in
moment
hand.
for Fabian. It doesn't really mathematically, at least at this stage, feel like it's a situation
And then just
where
hit at
we
their
just
board,
focus our
'cause
cost-related
then
removal on the Rebecca and just hope that we can swing for
That
game
10
with
Kaido
Flash,
can
the
really
Saxon,
push for game
and
because you can go
Kuzan
12-15.
doesn't quite feel like that we're there yet. I feel like it's just a little bit extra too risky, and Fabian will potentially have the counter to be able to deal with it. There's Rebecca, there is Lucci in hand as well, so we could go.
Looks like he's
into
going to go
the
for some
Rebecca
removal.
Lucci
Makes
combo that
sense.
we
Swinging
continue to
6
see,
where?
but we're
What's he going to
going to
minus?
swing in with Kuzan
Yeah, makes
and
sense.
reduce
Because he can
costs
just block
of
with the
Rob
Rebecca if he
Lucci,
wants.
and that will be
If you
countered
minus the
away
Rebecca,
by
it just
2
incentivizes the
by
block.
Shigi. Now 1 Don underneath
6.
Sakazuki
Interesting.
leader. 1 cost removed from the
Okay.
Hina. That will draw out the block of Rebecca.
So now he can go
we can
Lucci.
start thinking about playing Rob Lucci down for some real value.
Yeah, absolutely we can. That is probably what we're going to go for. Try and get Rob Lucci into Rob Lucci and
He-
Hina. If it's in hand, I can't see the hand.
Cycle,
well
yep.
enough. I'm looking.
Draw.
Don't.
For Revoye's hand, we've got Rebecca. We did have a Lucci.
He's gonna
in hand,
Rebecca,
I believe, at
Lucci,
last
that
block.
makes
We did have a
sense.
10-drop Kaido. That was discarded. We've also got Blocker Borsellino as a potential follow-up, but we are just going to go the bread and butter combo. Rebecca into Hina. Revoye
Probably
plays down
pops
the Rob Lucci,
Kuzan
say
and
goodbye to your
Lucci.
and Hina. Mr. Fabian.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a Kazan
Ooh.
and a Rob Lucci. That Kazan was hiding off to the side. Of course, 4 cost reduction every time you attack with the Kazan.
He still has a Hound Blaze, yeah? Or does he still have 2?
Very
4
important
cards in hand. He
quickly.
could attempt for the
So
game.
That's one you want to get off the board. It gives a bit extra to Fabian than something like Hina does, even though Hina's a slightly better. Well, they're the
If you
same
can remove
attacker,
it, you could
just got
go
that better
2,
thing in the
2.
reducing cost as well. Makes
So it's
it the
4, it's
obvious
5.
target. It just
You could
finds
go
it off to the
9,
side a
9,
little bit
10
Yeah,
and attempt for
definitely. When you put
GG.
it that way and you put it into
If
the
you could
perspective
remove that
context of
Rebecca.
the whole game situation and scenario, if you have
Just
to choose
going at
between
5,
Hina and Kuzan to get
interesting.
rid of, you absolutely pick the Kuzan. That -4 when attacking is just far too valuable, and that's exactly why Fabian is going after Hervoye's one.
Yeah, that Kazan. Well, we saw one hit the board earlier, and it got taken away super duper quickly.
About to
We
give
just
up
saw
that
one
blocker.
targeted down with Rob Lucci there, and now we've got one being seemingly targeted down as well. So it's one of those ones when it hits the board, it doesn't tend to stay around for very long. Now we see Hina attacking into it, and it took a bit of effort, but all of a sudden that Kazan has gone down.
Yeah,
Now if he
didn't
can
feel
remove
good about
Lucci and Hina,
getting
he
rid of
could
the
be in
Rebecca
there.
to block in that situation, and neither did Hervoye.
Because he's still got 2 Hound Blaze. So if he could Lucci, then Hound Blaze away the Rebecca, and then go 8 at face, could be huge. Cycling a Hound Blaze? Interesting.
Just take the hit and resign ourselves to the fact that that's going down.
Yeah, we still
5.
got the cards on the board. We
Okay.
still got Rebecca, we still got the Hina, we still got the Rob Lucci. But are we
3
still
cards in
gonna have
hand.
them when this
Cost the
turn
man
ends?
Sherry.
'Cause
He
that is
takes
absolutely
it.
what Fabian's going for. Lots of Hina.
Pulls
on the
out
board.
the
That is down at the
Borsellino.
moment. Bit of a Hina party. And, you know, look, you get the 4 cost reduction on play, and you've got your 5k to attack with. It's not particularly terrible. So can Fabian go ahead? Can you get rid of the Hina, the Rob Lucci? Can you get rid of that blocker Rebecca that is, of course, going to sit there and be super annoying for the rest of the game?
Fabian's going to play the Rebecca, looking to try and search for that answer. He's going to recall the Tashigi. We have seen that play, however, before. Getting the defensive option out, brings the Hina onto play via hand, and it looks like that we do have a Rob Lucci as well to follow up with to get rid
Boom,
of Lucci
there it
and
is.
Hina this time. And all of a sudden, it's just the lonesome blocker Rebecca on Hervoye's side of the board, putting back double Hound Blaze and probably a 4-cost Kuzan, it is indeed.
Yeah, and we are
Now he's got a huge wide board.
On game 1, it was looking pretty good early on in game 2, but Fabian does seem to be taking a bit of control.
See, again, like, Lucci can have, Zuki can have 1 life and just come back. See, he was at 1 to their 3. Opponent's board is clear, and he's still got a Hound Blaze. I still don't know why he's leaving these 2 up. It makes me think he's playing that 1 card, but honestly, this makes me want to play a Rush Usopp.
Not seemingly someone who's particularly confident in this game, but remember, there will be a game 3, and there will be a conclusion to the game 3 as well.
The thing that I think Fabian has got going for him differently from this game to the last game is he's just finding those combo pieces a lot more reliably. Being able to just continuously loop that Hina, the Rebecca Hina Lucci combo is just paying off really, really nicely for him, and just seeing how important that it can be in this Sakazuki deck, as it looks like Horovoye is going to try and just interrupt things a little bit with, funnily enough, a great eruption.
Yeah, so it's 2.
Yeah, it's another one of those cards we see just coming out all the time. Great Eruption, Hound Blaze, Ice Age. You've heard us say those many, many, many times on the stream this weekend, yesterday and today. But Havoye still needs, there's still a lot of
Triple
work
Hina's
to be done
crazy.
on this board. And by this board, I mean both sides. There's work to be done bringing Fabian down. There is work to be done building his board.
So true, because yeah, if he dropped the 10-drop Kaido, it does make it like a 6, and so it's easier to remove. It's getting spicy.
Are we going to see Fabian taking this, or are they able to counter out of it?
Well, we know there's a
yeah, you just give him the brand, Raisin Brand.
That Fabian fetched from the Rebecca earlier on his turn.
Oh, they were using 1 to show it as a -1, but they asked him to make it the cost. And he's just like confirming where the attack's going. 1.
And then there is the 1k counter of brand new.
He has to play a blocker, so like they have to commit 4 Man-Sherry. Man-Sherry to get
bit sad when you get it and have to give it away, because this is not
Rebecca or Hina.
Right now, we want these bigger
He's gonna cast Hina. Wow. Okay, that's one way to do it. Play the Lucci, clear 2 characters. He's got 3 swings. You have 1 blocker.
But between Man-Sherry and Rebecca here, the Sakazuki decks absolutely have
3 swingers, 1 blocker. If he can remove the blocker, it should be Fabian's game. So we know he has, if he has Great Eruption or a Suru, and he can cast it, then Hound Blaze out the Becca, and then just go 9 all in, it should be his. And then we'll be on to game 3.
In a very, very similar board state. Essentially, Fabian's got a Hina, and Havoye's got a Rob Lucci and a Man-Sherry. Other than that, we are pretty much in a mirror image in terms of this game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a roundabout way of Havoye getting to this board state situation, but he managed to get there with the help of that Man-Sherry as well. And now Fabian's got to decide about how he wants to try and play this. He's going to start with the Great Eruption. He needs to force that blocker to be used off of the board. Just 3 cards in Havoye's hand. So there is a potential option to just, as soon as you get rid of the blocker, try and go over the top. And that's what exactly Fabian, it looks like he might be trying to do here.
Yeah, we see that Hound Blaze coming down like we've seen it come down so many times before. There are no blockers on Havoye's side of the board. So can we start forcing...
There it is, yep, 9, and then all in. And then we're on to the next game, yep.
The cards get scooped up, and
there it was.
It looks like at 1 game each, and we are going to game
from 1 life. That's what's so crazy about Sakazuki. From 1 life.
Nice one indeed.
Yeah, great work there from Fabian to just make
goes
sure
down early and somehow manages to stay alive. You just play blockers and removal, blockers and removal.
Is there just going to be an option? Is there just going to be a world where we do just that, where we just get rid of the Rebecca blocker? You see the reaction now from those gathered in attendance that have stuck with us to watch on. They're going to be treated to a 3rd and final game in the European Championship Grand Final, where all of a sudden we're right back to the sort of play style that we were at on day 1. One last game, 1 last roll of the dice.
Yep, but no time limit this time round. We will be here as long as it takes. The crowd there is sticking through it. We are sticking here.
So now we really get it, because the last time all the soccer games ended in time. All the soccer games ended in time. This time can't happen.
It is cold out there. But
Both are going to the finals.
and, you know,
Both are going to the finals. Both are guaranteed. They've made it to Tokyo. They're just playing for the first place Kaido and the first place trophy right now.
Everybody in attendance. This is going to be really interesting to see how both of these
But they've both made it to Japan.
this final game 3. Are they thinking the exact same thing? Are they
It's
saying
just for the
it's a
title of
little
champion
bit early for
and a
team?
difference in the
Thinking,
cards,
right,
but
you
they
know
probably
what?
sell for
I
pretty
want a
much the
quick
same.
conclusion to this game, and I'm gonna
So
try
like
and
again,
force
you
it.
probably feel
Are
really
they
good
gonna be
going
a
into
little bit
this
more
because no matter what
reserved?
happens, you've won it all.
They're out
You've
there
won
a
it
bit
all.
more frequently, search for
Every
those
little bit of
openings.
prizing is
It's
yours.
going to be really, really interesting. It's just going to take that one little moment, that one difference maker, to crown someone a European champion and send the other person home with some sweet swagger themselves, but it'll say second place and not winner.
Second place swag is lovely, but let's face it, it's not the same now, ladies and gentlemen, is it? Nah, we want to be first. And just to finish off my thought from a minute ago, because I should have said this at the time, Sakazuki might be winning in here, but Kazan is winning outside. Can't believe I didn't get to that first time round. So we are setting up, and like you said, this is where the nerves are going to be kicking in. Because, you know, when you Voye, you're feeling pretty good. You've won game 1, then you lose game 2.
You get the
Fabian
pick
loses
though,
game
which is
1, and then
huge.
like, oh, but then you win game 2, and maybe that gives a little bit of a boost to Fabian, kind of feeling like you're on the upswing. But that's how close this is. Both of these players won the Sakazuki Mirror in the previous round. Now, we didn't see Fabian's game. We did see Havoya's game, and that was a very, very close game. We've now had 2 games in this grand final, and 1 has gone to each player. This is not a matchup where either player seems to have a huge advantage. It doesn't seem like one
They said the finals are streamed. We'll see how they adjust. They're pretty good at listening. Looks like Fabian is debating on keeping. Hervohe is just putting back. He said, no, I don't want that. And Fabian's keeping. I know I saw a Hound Blaze, which is great.
To figure out which one of these players gets which trophy.
And the decision with that starts with the opening hands and the mulligan. Hervoye electing to spin that first hand back into the deck, get it shuffled by one of our wonderful 2 table judges that are there. And then it will be Fabian that will be keeping it as well on the 3rd and final game of this grand final. It's going to come down to the wire. Could it just come down to how it was in game 1? One player will just get that fast start and the other won't be able to keep up and control the threats and bodies on board? Or will it be as it was in game 2, a real close, tense slugfest where eventually, as it should do, as it has done in plenty of Sakazuki mirrors throughout the weekend, one player just runs out of gas too quick?
Yeah, we saw that in the second game especially, where both players were going back and forth, and it just turned out that after that quick lead,
Here we
Avoya
go.
ran out of time, ran out of
Good
gas,
luck.
and then
Boom.
was able to get those last couple of attacks through. I will say, I really appreciate that so far in this final, we've seen endings to the games. None of this show your hand and fist bump. We've seen those final attacks being made. That makes me happy. So we've got Fabian starting off.
Top
We see
16
Anita
is best of
started
3?
to draw a
Or maybe
card.
it's top
Then
64,
on
but they play
to
best of
over
3 because then it gives you the full
Avoya here,
chance.
But unfortunately doesn't have a brand new or anything like that. Nothing really gets played.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a tentative early game just exchange at the moment. First life is taken. There's a brand new
See,
for Fabian.
Rebecca.
That will be very,
Oh no,
very
please be a
helpful
Navy.
for his cause.
Oh no, the whiff.
Oh no, nothing off the brand new. And at that point, it's just a vanilla 2K, a 2-cost 3,000 power. That is not a card anybody would choose to play in their deck. We do see the Sakazuki drawing a card, dropping a Hound Blaze. That's interesting to track. That's
Yeah.
a card, of course, which has come in.
Not a great
very
start for
handy from
Fabian.
best of 3 so far. So,
Yeah, it's interesting the decision actually there to trash the Hound Blaze to Sakazuki leader effect. I'd like to see what's in Fabian's hand because we've seen so often that it be the case that Hound Blaze targets the brand new.
Don't forget to subscribe, chat. Check that button.
At 6,000 power, so I'll be interested to see what there is in his hand. Meanwhile, on Hervoye's board, it's a Kuzan.
yeah, which is lovely. We like Kuzan being able to reduce cost by 4 when you attack, being a decent attacker. That is all well and good. But we've also seen that these Kazan, they don't tend to stay around for very long. They tend to kind of come out and disappear super super quickly because they are too threatening. That 4-cost reduction coming in.
That's why I play Jet Pistol.
It's
It's because the
annoying.
Kuzan.
Too many lines of play with these
It
other
is just...
cards that can KO
If they play, like,
characters
playing that
or
on turn 2 is so
it is
strong.
too
Going
much of a
brand new
threat. You still
into
won't put it down
Kuzan,
to
you
force
went
your opponent
net
to deal
neutral
with it.
on all of your
Fingers don't tend
cards.
to stay out for very
And
long
then
at
you
all.
also have a huge minus that you can continually use, but usually just use it once and get full value because you can minus without having to lose cards.
There was in fact a second Houndblade.
Nice,
That was
nice,
completely
Midi.
fine to trash the one earlier. We trash a brand new 2 leader skill, and now we're just going to start an attack. 5k will be countered by blocker Borsellino. Here
Oh,
goes Hina,
and then
just
to the
seeing that
Houndblaze with the
Kuzan
6.
to
Yup.
0 cost, and
I've
then
been seeing
the
Hina
Hina
casted a
into-
lot.
There is the Houndblaze, there's the boost on
A lot of
to
just
brand
raw
new.
playing Hina.
There is the 6,000 power swing, which will take the life.
Yeah, we're now down to Avoye. We had a cheeky leader swing from each player, taking down the life. Avoye is down to 2 life now. Fabian is down to 3 life. And, I mean, these early parts of the games, we see those attacks going through. But again, we've said this a couple of times, it doesn't really matter that much. The first couple of life are generally given up without too much protesting. It is those last couple of life that make such a big difference. That is where we see the countering, the blocking, everything we can do to keep those life in the life area where they belong.
So Avoye just looking potentially to use the leader skill again, try and fuel that trash up for the likes of Mancherry and Rebecca. There is definitely a Mancherry that is in her Avoye's hand, but at the moment there's not a great deal of targets. There's so many cards that are in the hand for Avoye as well. We're going to see Sakazuki effect. Discarding Houndblaze for cost finds Great Eruption, so that's an extra little bit of card draw if we want to see it, although with about, what, 8, 9 cards in Avoye's hand, I don't really know what much more we can filter through.
Always more stuff to filter through, Dennis. Always more cards you need for the combo. We do just see a cheeky swing here. Looks like it is into the brand.
Does he just drop a Luch? What's he got? He's got a Houndblaze. He's gonna Houndblaze is the play, 100%.
Houndblaze coming down.
Gets rid of the Hina, will power up the Sakazuki. It had already attacked into brand new, so unfortunately that one kind of fizzled out into the ether, but the blocker Borsellino, that certainly won't. That will stay there for as long as her.
I had a dream that Sabo made it. Like, there was like 11 Sabos in top
I feel pretty
64.
confident Fabian's going to get rid of that pretty quickly. For everything I've seen of this matchup, and right now at this stage, I've seen a lot of this matchup, I feel pretty confident it's not lasting very long. I mean, you and I wrote hands at this now. We just did a whole top 4 of this matchup. We're now into game 3 of the final. We know how this goes. And oh, look, it's Borsellino popping it to the bottom of the deck. Who could possibly have seen that coming? Quick turn from Fabian. Nothing else going on. So now we go back over to Avoye here. And we've got a lot of Don open and available. We've got a Sakazuki and no characters out. Where do we go from here? There is a brand new if you want to try and search out some characters, but there are some other options in hand if you feel like you're a bit beyond that at this stage.
It might have been a quick turn, it might not have been a turn where you flattened a load of bodies on board from Fabian's side of the board, but it was certainly an effective turn nonetheless, making sure you're getting rid of that blocker for the future turns. Obviously, if the 7-cost Borsellino sticks around, that's a second swing that can go in as well. But it looks like Avoye is already going to get to work, starting to reduce that cost. Life swing goes through. Here
Rebecca.
is a Rebecca.
Hina.
Lucci. Here
Lucci.
is the Hina.
Boom, it's a
It
2
looks like we're gonna
cost.
do that. Oh,
Yeah.
reliable. Lucci pulling another bird out of the hat.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hina comes down, reduces the cost. The Rebecca comes down and gets the KO. And of course, Rebecca's terrible at attacking. But both Rob Lucci and
Now he has to
Hina are
Rebecca,
absolutely
Hina,
viable
Lucci, and back.
attackers. And that basically says to Fabian,
But he doesn't have a Hina in the trash, right? Fabian doesn't have a Hina in the trash. Yeah, that's what he's looking for right now.
I will start attacking aggressively with them, and that's the thing. These Sakazuki decks are fine getting aggressive, firing off attacks with all of
So he has to have Rebecca. He's got the one oh he does have the Hina.
So they play the character.
He's gonna cycle. Yep, that's Hina. Draw.
Absolutely, it's certainly the markings of a strong back and forth mirror match where the skill of the player is the thing that really truly determines who is going to be the one that comes out as the victor. As we see with, what is that, 8 Don open, I think, for Fabian's side of the board. The leader skill to draw one, trash one has already been utilised, getting rid of that 3-cost Hina. And now we're going to see a 5k swing into the Hina, it looks like there from the motioning Fabian gave. I think the cost was reduced by Hina as well. So looking to potentially try and repeat some of the tricks that he pulled in game 2.
Yeah, Tashiki coming down as a 2k counter though, unfortunately stops at least one of those tricks. We do see the brand new coming and hitting the field now.
Yay! Not him being excited to see the target. Oh, and he has to grab the Hina though. Almost whiffed again.
In this matchup being a whiff at the start of the game. Finally this time he's going to be able to find a Navy character and get some value for it as well as it's played.
Looks like he's...
down. There goes the Rob Lucci as well. Gets rid of Hina and Lucci. And
had to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, we are. Well, we're seeing more of these swings now. Fabian's got a couple of good attackers out in Hina and Rob Lucci, and no blockers down there.
He's got an Ice Age too, which is big.
Look, the Rebecca isn't going to be attacking. That does potentially open up. You know, if you want to go for a Hound Blaze to get a character off the board, and let's face it, we've seen that a lot. There is a potential here to combo that with also an attack from your leader. So you're playing the Hound Blaze anyway, but then you get to power up your leader and then get a big swing with no blocker on the board. In starting off, we've got Great Eruption, but that will actually bring Rob Lucci down into Hound Blaze territory. If you've got it in hand, it is in hand.
There you go.
And now we can have a big swing with the leader with no blocker on the board. And there is a very good chance this is going to go through.
Of course it's in hand. It's always in hand, it feels like, with these Sakazuki decks. And you are perfectly
going down the
wood. Like the 8,000 power swing, boosted up by that aptly timed Hound Blaze, is going to be taken. There it is after a little bit of careful consideration from Fabian. And now finally with another 8 Don left up available. What is the follow-up option to build up some board? In fact, it was only 7. And it gets rid of the other character that was on board there as well, that 7-cost Borsellino.
Yeah, I love 7-cost Borsellino.
Honestly, there was a guy in my locals who was tearing it up with Iceberg, but like Ace, OP03 Ace just destroys Iceberg.
Some pressure next turn, or forcing your opponent to get rid of it. However that ends up going, it's phenomenal. We see like every Sakazuki is playing both of the Borsellino at this stage. They are both that gosh darn good. And I do like, it does feel like a Navy deck. Kazan, Borsellino, Sakazuki, you know, they are all here. Needs a bit more Kobe.
We could always use a little bit more Kobe in our collective lives, I think, as Fabian trying to figure out what exactly he can try and mop up for himself here in this board state as well. With 10 Don left up and available, the leader effect has
I mean, if you mean other TCGs, I would have no idea, but this is the first ever opportunity to be a champion. Unless you meant like, yeah, unless you meant like regionals. I thought you meant like nationals.
We see the 5k going into life. The cost reduction targeting Borsellino, so that is now 6. And it is just a Hina and Lucci away from being sent to the trash. The counter came out for the leader attack. There is the Hina definitely in hand for Fabian. I don't know if I see the Lucci though. I think I do actually. I might have stand corrected. We'll see if I do indeed have to eat my words in this situation as well.
Yeah, we did see that counter coming down from the brand new. Interestingly enough, Avoye was really thinking hard about that. That was not a counter that came down quickly. It was a big
that's
decision.
Interesting.
We'll have to see if it
he has to play a blocker now, yeah? Maybe really Rebecca, Hina, Hound Blaze? Because if not, if you don't play a blocker, they can attempt game next turn. Hina, interesting. Okay, just gonna Hound Blaze away, yeah.
Disparity in between the two players' hands right now.
Yep, and then goes 7
right now
face.
For Avoye as Hound Blaze comes down as well, puts the extra 3,000 power onto
probably
brand
just
new,
blocks.
boosted up one more as well to turn it into that magic 7. And now Avoye is
Avoye only having 2 cards is big.
Let the blocker go down. to protect that.
He could go 7-8. They don't have a blocker. You could
right?
just be wild
It's
and go
like, don't forget
7-8.
with the 2 cards that are in hand, that he's got enough to counter away with this. And why would you with just 2 cards in hand?
Well, no, that's the thing. It's also information for your opponent. When you see that your opponent only
Takes
has
it.
2
I
cards
think
in
that's the
hand,
play, because
that
then you get to
tells you
keep
that they
the
really do
Rebecca.
not have a huge amount of
Especially if you
options.
just checked like
It
what are their
tells you
odds
that
of
they
having
are
another
going to be
removal. You know
struggling
they
to be
probably
counting
don't
out
have
of this.
Lucci.
And
10
yeah, there's a blocker
Kaido.
on the board, fine, but it means that
Might
you
be
can
the
thinking,
play.
Get rid of the blocker, fire off some attacks. And the worst case scenario is they actually can counter out of it using like the only 2 cards. in their
Fabian might
hand,
be going for
at which
game
point
next
they've
turn.
got nothing.
So we go over to Hlevoye's hand, who's obviously staring down the active Hina and Cruzan, the rested brand new as well. There are options, and there is definitely a route to getting rid of the 2-for-1 in this situation. Potentially even just clear the entire board if Hlevoye believes that he wants to swing into the brand new with Sakazuki. We're going to start off with Great Eruption. We will -2 cost off of Kuzan. And then we need 1 more. We need 2 more actually. We need 1 more to get onto the Kuzan if we're going to target.
Ah,
that.
6 at the
We will
brand
indeed
new.
with the cost reduction on Sakazuki leader attack. It will go into brand new. That is going to go down. So that's 1 worry dealt with. Here we go
Oh.
again. Rebecca is going to go ahead.
Hina
and
Lucci
fetch
for the
Hina.
clear.
Is gonna
Wow.
bring down the cost of Fabian's
Oh
Hina,
my
and there is
gosh.
the Rob Lucci as well, exactly as we thought it was going to go down. And all of a sudden, it's a very, very lonesome side of the character area for Fabian.
Yeah, once again, that giant swing. We've now got Rob Lucci, we've got Hina, they're both decent attackers. We've got a couple of Rebecca, both of which are blockers, which will work out very nicely indeed. So I'm loving Hlevoye's board here, but look, we've been here like a million times before. Just because we love somebody's board 1 turn does not mean we'll love it the next. We are down to 1 life remaining. We're getting quite deep into this game now. We are getting to the stage where all it's going to take is a stumble. If one player has a turn which is a little bit less than they would like, the other player will be able to start taking advantage of that. We see a 7k swing demanding a 3k counter or a blocker. There's not enough counter, so out comes the blocker. That is going to be the only attack Fabian really gets off this term, but forcing that Rebecca away, not the worst thing in the world. At least it's gone now.
Absolutely, and I think we're in a situation here where honestly we just need to go for the combo if we've got it. We need to get rid of Lucci and Hina. Obviously the Rebecca at 0 power naturally, you can't really imagine that that is going to be swinging.
Rebecca,
anytime
Hina,
soon.
Lucci
It
would be
looks like that's
gigantic
exactly
here.
what we're going to be going for. We play down the Rebecca, going into the discard pile.
There it
There
is.
the Hina. That will reduce 4 cost onto the Rob Lucci, and there they go. Threats dealt with. And
No,
immediately
that's
rolls reverse
Yeah.
right back as well.
And round we go. And look, Taj wanted a counter of how many times Rob Lucci is
Now the
used.
question is,
I
do
don't know
you
anyone
do you
keeping
drop
counts
the
team
10
like
drop
how
Kaido?
many
If you can't
But
remove a
if you have been
character,
keeping count of
do you
how
drop
many
the
times
10
that
drop?
Rob Lucci has come down on stream, I salute you. All I know is a lot.
this has been an insane
Absolutely.
back and
So 4
forth.
cards in hand here
Really
for
depends on what
Fabian.
Hlevoye has here.
Hlevoye has just
Otherwise, if he
3.
can't
There
clear
is a
that board,
Rebecca,
Fabian's going to go
but
for
there's
it.
no Rob
And if Fabian
Lucci
can clear that
in the
Rebecca,
hand
it's
right
definitely
now. Doesn't
ogre.
mean there's not to say that we couldn't
Honestly,
find
10 drop
ways
might
if
be
we
the
still have
play.
Sakazuki's
Might be the only
leader
chance he
ability that
has.
we can go and use. But right now,
Oh, he does have a
not getting
Rebecca,
into
but he
Hina,
doesn't
into
have
Lucci.
Lucci.
You've got 10 drop Kaido that's in there that could
He
try and push a
can
little
clear
bit of a
1. He
stumble
can go
on
after the
Fabian,
character,
try and
but he might just
upset
get
his
the
equilibrium and
Rebecca.
think, oh no, there's a 10 cost 12,000 power that he's on the
5 at
board here that I
Hina,
might
5
have
at
to
lead,
worry about.
minusing the Hina.
But I don't
Interesting.
think that would be enough in this situation.
No, I do like it in some ways because I see Hlevoye's hand is getting very low. And look, that Kaido doesn't have a counter if I remember.
10
correctly.
drop, yep.
No, it
That's
doesn't.
what I
It's just gonna be
figured,
played
because,
down
like,
onto the
4
field.
cards.
Hlevoye is
That's
just
like
gonna
his only
go
chance.
for
It looks like a lot of counter there,
4
though.
new cards as
Who's
well.
on cycle,
Now,
draw.
Sakazuki leader ability.
Oh.
There's another Hina. I don't think I spotted another Rob Lucci that was in there, though. It does give Hlevoye some counter.
I think he had
This
it
is
at
what I'm
whatever.
saying
I
about
don't
Kaido.
know.
This is why I like the Kaido this
I'm
time.
assuming
You've
they
got
knew
3
what their
cards
cards
in
were
hand.
at,
One
though.
of them has no counter, so it's effectively a 2-card hand. You've got very few options, and you have no big attackers out. So as much as it basically means taking a turn off from doing your usual Sakazuki thing, it gets you 4 more cards, which is going to actually refresh your hand really nicely and give you a big attacker on the board. Sometimes you cannot afford to play the Kaido because you end up taking too much time off from your regular plan. That turn, I really liked the Kaido.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from.
Do you bottom? Did you go to remove the Kaido?
That kind of almost empty card, like you say, out of.
He's got a lot of cards, so 6.
It has its presence while it's there, but it's got so much more value.
Looks like he's not going to remove the Kaido. Drawing into a
Fabian, though,
Becky.
Sakazuki leader ability first. It gets rid of a blue.
That would make
Borsalino
sense.
And draws up. I believe it was another Rebecca. It is, you can see it there, just in the hand for Fabian. So there's a way to get rid of that blocker, Rebecca. You have to think, and it could free the way up for 3 swings from Leader and Hina and Lucci combined as well. Just maybe want to keep some Don alive, though, if you're going to be going ahead and swinging to try and augment those numbers, try and make it a little bit harder for Hervoye to counter out of. You've just seen him draw 4 new cards, so you've got to imagine that at least 1 or 2 of them is some kind of 1,000 or 2,000 power counter.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the downsides of playing the Kaido. You basically take a turn off. So you're not wrecking your opponent's board in the way that you normally would be. And you can see
Might be just trying to see if he can go for game. Seeing what he really wants to do, because he's got a Lino, so he can double blocker.
So what can you do in this turn where you've basically been left unchecked? And that is the real kind of the opportunity cost. When you play this Kaido, what is my opponent going to do in this turn? I've essentially given them back.
So
he's got 9 Don, so he could go 9-10.
7,000 power swing of Rob Lucci. There is 9.
Could also just go 7, 8.
Fabian. We've got Rebecca, brand new.
And play
We've also got a Tsuru.
Borsalino.
So there's 2 cards with 2k counter that are in Hervoye's hand. So I don't think that we'll be seeing a game closed out.
I don't think he has to win, but yeah, the 10 Kaido is very strong.
Just protecting him for the moment.
Yeah, 7, and he probably goes 7,
so
8.
we'll have to see what kind of signals that Fabian receives from Hervoye, who counters away 3k onto Hina.
Yeah, he's going to be surviving this turn now, and I'm just having a look at Hervoye's board. And
that 12 Kaido might clear a character.
To get that Rebecca blocker off the board, you have got 2 big swings next turn. You could potentially have a 13,000 and a 14,000 swing next turn. Well, not quite that high, actually. You'd need to get rid of the Rebecca. But still, you could have kind of 2 12,000 swings. And your opponent is going to really struggle to counter both of those. So I'm kind of thinking here, almost wouldn't mind giving up my last life if that's an option. Give myself an extra card in hand, and then really just go all
7,
for it next turn to
and
win
then you
the
just
game.
play the Lino.
Yeah, you'd be effectively looking
so you
at,
either
I
go to
think,
0
if I've done
and
the
then you
maths
force them to
right,
block, or like you have
swing,
to
there's no point putting any Don
have to go
onto
2
the
cards. Looks
Kaido.
like he only
That's big enough
has
as it
2
is,
more counter
and then
cards in
if
his
you
hand.
Go ahead and potentially use a
Oh, he's
Eruption
got the
to
Rebecca
bring
though,
the
which is
Rebecca
big.
down to cost Houndblaze, but actually even
I know
make
he's
the
Rebecca and
Sakazuki
Hina in
even
hand,
bigger,
so
you
that's
could put
big.
up to a 15,000
You'd go down to
with the other
0.
7 Don that would be left over to swing into.
Because then it comes down to, well, can they
very
remove?
difficult to counter
If
out
they can
of
remove
both
your
of those.
blocker,
That
it's over. This is
potentially
anybody's game.
Could be the path to victory for Hervoye, but Fabian still has some Don open, still has his turn on going, and might just have some things to say about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, countering 1 would be enough, and then that's another, what the problem is, another one of those turns where if you go down the super aggressive route, you're not leaving any blockers on the board. So you're probably not going to go that route. We do see another counter here. The problem is you are getting very, very close to the end of the game here. So if you've got a hand that you can do the Sakazuki thing, I like doing the regular play of trying to wreck your opponent's board, get a blocker down, swing Kaido, and leave it alone. If you haven't got that kind of hand, you try and do 2 big swings after getting rid of the Rebecca. There are a couple of different ways to go here. Is there 3 cards in hand?
There is for Hervoye. There is 3 cards there left in hand, and here we go. We're going to go 7 into leader Sakazuki. We're going to target the Hina with the cost reduction, and Fabian is going to use his blocker. Now the Kaido is going to
Does he play Russian Usopp? That'd be
12,000
wild.
power. A little bit of a look of confusion and bemusement there from Fabian. Almost maybe even looks like, gee, what have I done? Going too early and using that blocker. The life gets taken. Here is Rebecca.
And the thing is, this isn't ending the turn, because now there's no life left on Fabian's side of the board.
Yeah,
But
he could have
Havoye
went
cannot
block
win
and
the
did
game
a
this turn. There's not
2K
gonna be
with
another attack
Lino.
coming. This is Fabian basically going, hang on a second, can you wreck my board as well? Because if Havoye can wreck the board here...
Havoye forgot to grab
This
something
could
back
be
from
it.
trash, maybe?
Ooh,
Or no?
He's conceding. I think Havoye is conceding.
Do we have a concession? Can we get confirmation on that concession that Havoye is conceding the game? We have the fist bump, it's over. Fabian looks confused, so I think that means that Havoye is conceding. Can we just get some confirmation that that is indeed what's happened? Because both players have taken off their headsets.
What?
Nobody's actually pulled off a winning play here.
I think it's a concession from Havoye.
It looks like a concession from Havoye.
He's played down the Tsuru and then tried to follow up and played with the Rob Lucci from Han. You hear some of the reaction from the crowd, but he's realising
he's conceding.
He's
I
just
think
played
Havoye
down the
is conceding.
2,000 power counter. So
And we
he's
do
just gonna
have
be
confirmation that we do have Fabian is that Havoye is conceding the game. Final. We have the fist bump, it's over. Fabian to the game, and it looks like Fabian went, it looked like Havoye went to play out his hand, played down a card, and then just got halfway through and realised,
Wow,
I don't have
chat.
it.
Wow.
I understand what he's tried to do.
And Fabian was as confused as us when that happened.
Absolutely. Well, Fabian looked like was confused initially when he used his Rebecca to block the Sakazuki leader swing, thinking, oh no, there's a big 12,000 power attack that's about to come my way. How do I defend that? That looked like
Yeah,
the
I was
first
like, what
instance
just
of
happened?
confusion.
Yeah.
But then also, as we see finally the reaction of the crowd to our new European champion, it looks like that he's tried to go and clear the board. That's exactly what he's done. He's tried to minimize
I still
the
think
amount
it was
of attacks
over.
that he has to
I still think
defend
it was over.
on Fabian's turn, and he's just realised
Yeah.
too late as he's played down that Tsuru.
I was also
going back to
confused why he
should
played
play it down
Tsuru. I was
rested
like,
off
what?
of the Rebecca. I've got no defence of my own.
No, unfortunately not. We didn't have those defensive options, and essentially this happens in One Piece sometimes. You get to the end of your turn, and it's why we see some really bizarre endings to One Piece games, because there are X amount of attacks that are going to make you lose the game. And essentially you get to this stage where it looks like you're just about to win, and then you go, I am one
Huge
attack short of winning
congrats
this turn,
to Fabian,
and I
bro.
know how many
Yeah, that
attacks
was
they've got
insane. Yeah, I
next
still
turn,
think he
and I
lost, though.
know
I'm
there is
assuming
no
he
way
had
to
some
defend
kind of
off that many
removal.
attacks. So
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
we got
yeah,
some
yeah.
real endings to the first couple
That's
of games.
crazy.
In
But
that
again,
first
at
game,
the end of
we
the
just got
day,
one player
you
realising
still
mid-turn going,
make it.
I
So
am out of options. I cannot win this game. The fist bump for concession, and then, yeah, we have a new European champion. It is Fabian, and played that very, very well. And really watching that series, I could have gone either way.
Absolutely, and we see to our left-hand side, Havoye is being congratulated off, embraced by some of his peers as well. Credit to him for getting this far as well. After a fifth place
it was anybody's
at the Paris
game.
Treasure Cup, making it all the way
If
up to the grand
he
final.
didn't have
Such a
removal,
massive
though,
achievement. He is
Havoye
going
had
to go
it.
home with that
Which is
second-place
interesting. So, like, if
trophy. But of
assuming
course,
he
there
could remove
only
the
have been
Hina,
one
it was
winner,
over.
And on this occasion, it was just
But
perhaps
if he
that
couldn't,
mental
or not the
fortitude
Hina, if he
that
could remove
allowed
the
Fabian
Becca,
to become
but if
our
he
champion.
couldn't, it
Yeah,
was
we
because
saw
yeah, he
what we
had
tend to
one
see
card
with
in
the
hand, so
Sakazuki mirrors.
7-7
We saw boards
would
being
win,
brought
or
up, boards
7-9
being
would
broken down.
win
We saw
if he had
Rob
any
Lucci
form of
coming in
removal
over and
that
over
wasn't.
and over and over and over again, and we saw big swings
Borsalino
where
is
one player looked ahead,
guaranteed.
another player looked like they were ahead. A very confusing game, I think, maybe for some newer players that were watching. With the big
Crazy
swings
game
that were going
regardless.
back and forth, but then in the end, essentially Fabian built up a decent board. And as so often happens in the Sakazuki mirrors, we had one player building up
Oh, he
a
would have had
board,
the Tsuru in hand.
another
Yeah,
player
yeah,
building
yeah.
up a board. We go back and forth. And then
I
eventually
mean,
one
you make
player
it
just
this
goes,
far. Yeah, I mean,
"I'm out."
it definitely
I've done
will.
all
But
I
you,
can to try
you,
and
at the end of the day,
stop
you're still going
you
to
have
Japan.
essentially
You have
had
a
that
chance of
turn
redemption,
with the board. I
becoming
know
the
you're
world
gonna win next
champion.
turn, and that is it. It is over.
Absolutely, and I'll be perfectly honest.
Right, but he had one
that
blocker,
last
so he had
turn,
2
those
swings.
last
Did he have 1
exchanges in
life?
that game three,
He had 1 life,
I actually
right?
thought it was Fabian that was the one that was running out of steam and running out of options. He was just getting that little bit less reduction, that little bit less clear going on onto the board state. and a few less opportunities to use that Rebecca-Hina-Lucci combo. I thought he was going to be the one.
Saka is your world, or Sakazuki is your world champion. Woo!
One moment gets rid of the game, and Fabian is able to take it home. What an end to the final, and what an end to the event.
Yeah,
who got third?
To Fabian for taking home the trophy. You got to bear in mind, right? 2,560 people.
That was a very
is how
long
many
last
people we
game.
had when we started this tournament yesterday, you know, to finish higher.
Also, everybody, if you're still here, hit that subscribe button. I make One Piece content for the One Piece card game. Market watches, deck profiles, and just like gameplay, kind of showing in-depth into competitive gameplay. So if that interests you, hit that subscribe button.
With the highest attendance, and to be able to come in and say, I won the biggest One Piece tournament in the world is a phenomenal achievement.
Huge.
And
huge.
I mean, that's something to put on your CV, isn't it?
Absolutely, and well, we can hear some of the immediate thoughts of our European champion Fabian with Mina over in the interview area. Take it away.
Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you, Ross and Ben, for the casting. Well, I'm standing here. Congratulations with the winner of the European Championship. How are you feeling?
I'm super happy. I mean, I was super happy before we played the final. And it's
What do you
just
mean,
amazing to be the
R?
winner of this large tournament. I couldn't even imagine.
Do you mean my
going this
wallet
far.
address?
Yesterday I went 9-1, and I had 2 more rounds of Swiss today. And I was like, oh, maybe if I can get into the top card, I would be super happy. I got into the top card, and each step was like, maybe you can get top 32. Oh, and I did it. Next round. Oh, maybe you can get an uncut sheet. I did that.
Why would I put
Maybe you
that
can get
down?
the
Where's
top
it
8
at?
Playmat. I got that, and then I was like, man, this is crazy right now. And I was super lucky in my games because I draw so many combo pieces that's important in the Sakazuki mirror. And yes,
Nice,
it's a bit
Daniel,
unreal,
nice.
I'm gonna be honest.
I can see. Like you said before, you were like, okay, maybe I want to play good. Okay, I can get a top card. Okay, I'm on the top card, or maybe I can get further. What was the point where you were like, okay, I want to be in the final, I want to win this?
When I got top 16,
Top 16, yeah.
it
And
was going so well.
what were your thoughts doing all this? Maybe especially now in the end of the games.
In the last game, I was like, I was super chilled because my brand new whiffed. I played a brand new card. You can look up to 3 cards, and
You whiffed, yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and I couldn't take 1 card. That's a very hard tempo loss because I lose 1 hand card. Normally you would take 1, and yeah, it was like, okay, I can blame it on the whiff on brand new if I lose this one, but I tried to make the correct decisions, looking at my cards, and it's played out well. I don't know. It was amazing the last game.
So you kind of were like, oh, I whiffed. What am I going to do? I'm going to be chill. This might be
Nice. 2 months is
happy
plenty
about
of time.
how far I came, but then the amazing, like you looked very confused in the end.
Yeah, the confusion was because Hervoje took the wrong card out of his hand and played it wrong.
Cat's
So he
easier the
wanted to play
RNG.
another card, but we.
NL
and he
mirrors
was like,
requires
"Man, I
skill.
fucked up." Oh, sorry, language. I did the wrong play, and we were discussing like, okay, if you play it correctly, I would have draw 1 card, trash 1 for leader ability, draw another one, and I will draw the key card to finish him. And he was like, okay, if I lose like this, it's okay, and that's because I was confused.
Okay. I only heard like I had the screen, but the screen had a delay, and I had the casters, and then I was like, wait, what is happening now? I was like, I can hear what's happening, but I can't see it. I was also
Yeah,
so
we were
confused.
discussing. He took the wrong card, and it was what? Okay, yeah.
And what players, what decks did you play against through the whole day, 2 days?
Okay, in my first day, I had 3 Sakazuki mirrors, 3 purple Luffys, 1 Whitebeard, 1 Enel, 1 Katakuri, and I don't remember the last one. Oh, sorry, 1 Zoro, the worst matchup for me. And today I had to play the last 2 rounds of Swiss, and I faced 2 more Zoros. I lost 1 and I won 1. Yeah, and then I went 10-2.
Which was the most hard hard deck to play against? The most difficult one to play against?
I'm gonna say Zoro and Nami in the top card, because I wasn't concentrating that good in the match, because I have to the headset. You know, I already said it in the interview. Yeah, Nami, because I didn't practice that matchup this well.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Some people who play against Nami might be very confused, because I think they didn't prepare for that. But you still won. You're the winner. Congratulations! You're going to Japan, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Yeah, I still want to talk to
sure.
the second one. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello again. Yes. How are you feeling right now?
Honestly, way better than I thought after losing the finals, because in the last moment I made a very stupid mistake. I wasn't looking which card I played, and I slammed down the Tsuru instead of Hina, and that could have potentially cost me the game because I don't clear his board and just die. But his hand was good enough to kill me anyways, and his top deck was good enough to kill me, so I honestly feel pretty good. Like, especially because Fabian, we've known each other for a while, and he's a really good player. We're friends, so if there's one person I could choose to be at Worlds with, like traveling to Japan, he's definitely in like top 3. Like, I have a few better friends, but he's definitely one of my favorite European players.
Okay, that's very nice to hear that you're like, okay, I already know him, and if I'm gonna lose against someone, it's him. That's totally fine by me. Yeah, maybe come a little bit closer to me. So, what decks did you play against, and what did you find the most difficult?
So day 1 in Swiss, I played first 3 rounds against Enel, and I think that matchup is like really easy for Sakazuki when you play the blue Kaido, because do you want me to go into technical stuff, or just I'll
just
briefly?
A little resume.
Yeah, basically those are easy. Then a mirror, which I lost because I just bricked. Then another mirror, Sakazuki, of course. Then a Zoro, which went surprisingly well. He didn't have the cheese tools. And then 2 mirrors, Katakuri, 1 more mirror. If I'm missing a match, it was another mirror. And then today, day 2, round 11, another mirror. Round 12, Katakuri, also beat him. My second loss was also mirror in day 1. I forgot to mention that. And then day 2, for single elimination, top 64 Sakazuki, top 32 Sakazuki, top 16 Sakazuki, top 8 Sakazuki, top 4 Sakazuki, and final Sakazuki. And in the finals, I finally lost.
Is there a deck that you would like to have played against?
The Nami deck. Honestly, I have no idea how that deck topped, and I'm pretty sure I could destroy it, so yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to play against it.
And is there something you're looking forward now in Japan?
Well, first of all, preparing for the tournament and hopefully taking away the big prize in Japan. I've followed a lot of anime and stuff, manga, so probably going to check out a lot of like the pop culture stuff. But I'll worry about that when I don't even know which month Worlds are. Like, I'm just glad to be going there.
Those are problems for the future, right? Now you're going, you're second. This is quite good. Congratulations again. You did very well, and yeah, thank you for being here. I'm gonna have, we're gonna have a little break. Oh, we're done. Okay, the trophies.
Thank you.
The trophies are ready. Perfect. Okay, we're ready for the trophies. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, no, not let's go. We're ready for the trophies, but not let's go. Okay. I'm confused. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna head out, y'all. But thanks for rocking with me. Insane finals. Congrats to the winners. Everybody have a good night.